Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paradise. This is,
Hi, everybody. Hey, everybody, to the day get
Hey,
around by a guy
everybody.
named Sean. Take it away.
Go,
Sorry,
I was
busy
Sean.
looking at dragons.
Yeah, it's okay.
All
Good
right,
use of
folks.
time.
Welcome to Advantage in Paradise. Let's jump into that recap. Last we met, the Wayward Five suffered a great loss after defeating the Pale Covenant. After defeating the Pale Covenant ambush in the Gabrari Fen. The undead creatures and their masters had taken Scarlet's life. The party brought her body back to the wagons to implore Governor Oriel Clay to bring her back like he did for Curon. He prayed the words, but what felt like hours, as a murder of crows circled above, all red, black, and white. The party scraped what treasures they had together in an effort to plan a resurrection, as Oriel, frustrated and angry, failed to bring her back. Confused and mourning, the party packed up to keep moving. Through the mire and beyond to Nephradala they embarked. Somewhere else, far from here, far from friends and the world of the living, the spirit of Rowan Dumaine awoke in the fields of death, home to Hadric, the Wayward One. She met him in the circles of passage, where she was to wait for some god or place or entity to claim her afterlife. They waited long, and he comforted her in this trying and confusing time, but ultimately, she was claimed. A passage opened, and she passed on. Beyond the portal, she found herself within the great smithing caverns of Fierce Soul, the smith drake. But he was not as she saw in her father's tales. Broken by time and war, with an addled mind of grief and pain, he threatened her very soul. She was rescued by another soul named Canaan. He brought her back to the smithies where other souls hid from Fierce Soul. He explained that the great dragon was not acting himself and hasn't for some time. But she had other things on her mind in this new, strange place. She searched the faces of the smiths for a familiar one. Her father. And she found him. That familiar face, painted bronze, but with the same sad eyes. Papa, she called. Rowan, he returned. And as she ran to embrace him, shadows took her and leached the joy, pain, and fear from her until she saw nothing, felt nothing, was nothing. A voice echoed in her mind. The Crimson Court does not forget. The Crimson Court does not forgive. Curon, back in the cart, had entered a trance to prepare to try and bring Scarlet back. This was cut short as tendrils of shadow enveloped her body. They gathered around. The group attempted to stop this magic. As the shadows grew, the heart of Maius began to thrum from within the bag of holding. By utter instinct, Wiswick tapped the old tuning fork he had against this as Curon held out the heart. A bounding silence consumed the wagon as a crack in reality formed. From this rift, a clawed arm attempted to pull itself from some other plane. The party fought back the creature, and Curon used up what power he had left to close this rift. As this mayhem settled, the body of Scarlet vanished from the wagon. Fraught with grief and fear, our heroes kept moving onward to Nephradala. Unable to do much to save their friend. On arrival, they found a diverse hub of all sorts of folk. In the center of town, Curon discovered a crowd and some guards concealing the scene of a murder. Rumors seemed to be spreading that it was the Pale Covenant. A dragonborn woman told him the attacks had been growing for some time, and it has cut Nephradala off from trade routes, triangulating the town. She told him there were few that could stand up to them in town. Some mercenaries had come, and the Cobalt hunters used to help them, but they had only seen one in some time. Though that one was in town, but she's a drunk, washed out. Inside the Laughing Serpent Tavern, the party met this Cobalt hunter, Katya, a drow monk from the Leviathrok order. They met her after she shooed away a predatory guide named Roach, who was trying to maybe swindle them into some kind of deal. Despite the hungover presentation and the stories of her being a washed-up drunk, they decided to hire her. She had demonstrated knowledge of the area, knowledge of sand lurkers, and of the great glass titan that they had heard about. Due to this knowledge, they hired her to be their guide through the fields of glass, and maybe to help them track the Pale Covenant as well. This is where we left off. The party was in the Laughing Serpent Tavern, some of them drinking a few ales. The last thing that we had done was Katya's good friend, Lollop, had arrived in the bar and was happily introducing himself to her new friends, her new clients, while exclaiming that he is, in fact, Katya's best friend. This was Lollop, the Axelborn. So, as you all sit at the bar, what would you like to do?
About what time is it?
Right now, I'd say it's probably because you arrived in town around noon, I believe. So you haven't been here that long, so I'd say it's really only about 1:30 maybe.
Okay.
So how soon are you looking to go into the fields of glass?
I still have some research to do.
Vizwick,
Here,
we
if
need.
we could take some time.
That's up to Kieran.
I overheard some townsfolk in the square talking about the Pale Covenant.
I did as well. The other day.
What have you heard, Cobalt Huntress?
What? Oh, what have I heard? What have I heard?
If you want to give me an insight check.
Sure. Ten.
What you've heard is what you heard today. And
What's today?
yes, it was earlier today.
So-
It was literally a few moments before they got into town that you had seen the exact same scene he saw, and you had been spying on it.
I don't remember much.
I mean, you would know that they've been a threat for the last few months, and that they've been growing bolder, and there has been several murders. But you don't know much else about them specifically, like why they're doing it and what they're after.
Well, I have not heard much about this covenant, but they've been active lately. I have noticed, actually, now that I think about it a little more, the murders that have been happening have been mostly rich people. I don't know why, I don't know much beyond that, but that is
Mostly what kind of people?
Rich, wealthy.
Ah, yes. We were ambushed by them on the road.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you got away okay, though.
I
Well,
wouldn't say with
Forced
those.
to be reckoned with.
we lost one of ours.
I'm sorry for your loss. It's never easy to lose a companion.
No. No, it's not. It doesn't help that this covenant worships the dead drake, Hairforced, the ancient enemy of my goddess Iluvania.
Oh, you mean Hairfost?
What did I say?
Not that.
Air forced.
Hairforced.
Air forced.
That
Um,
is troubling to you?
Well, of course, any enemy of my goddess is an enemy of mine.
Makes sense. Sunny, can I have another one, please?
If I may, and Kieran kind of puts a hand in to like lower her glass if she has it and be like, it's nothing personal, I just, if we're going to be working together, well, and then he looks over at Kaze. How sauced is Kaze?
He's getting to that level. He's drinking pretty heavily right now.
With
Well-
all due respect, I drink when I want to. Another one,
That's-
please, Sunny.
Fair.
Katya, you're going to be spending all of the gold you just got again.
No, it's fine. Just one more. One.
I have heard that before, but okay.
I
She'll get you
promise
another one.
this time is for real. This is the last one.
Are
Was
you looking for the cheap stuff?
Surprise me.
Wiswick's gonna pull Kieran aside when she begins to talk to the bartender, and just be whisper and just be like, "Hey, you sure you should be? I mean, like, don't disclose everything. We don't know if we can trust this person yet. She doesn't. I don't know if she seems trustworthy.
Do we have any reason to distrust her?
She's a drunk and she's a stranger.
I
Those
heard
two
that.
things.
I have very good hearing. Pointing to my very large ears. I promise, I always get drunk before I go into the fields of glass. Works every time.
You know what? I'm just gonna go to the wagons. I gotta watch, make sure that there's no robbers, whatever. The golem can't be scary without me.
Of course. Your caution. I'll take it into advice, Wiswick.
On his way out, he just shoots a glare at Katya, and then like turns around, like
Right back.
yeah, the old Avatar.
Okay.
Kind of returning to the table, Huron. I was about to say steeples his fingers, and then I realized he only has one arm. You guys know Kieran has one arm. Leans forward on his one arm, and goes, "Wait, did we discuss price?"
You
Only
gave
the
me-
deposit.
You gave me.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you gave her an upfront thing, and then it was like split 4 ways, like we normally do.
Okay. I didn't have it in my notes, so good to know.
You said it, not me.
I did. I just threw the gold at her.
Okay, cool. All right. So Kieran will then say, "Well, since we've already started paying you,
Hmm.
we might as well get to work."
The sooner the better. Like I said, when are you looking to go? You never answered my question.
If all of our party are in agreement, and he says, kind of looking towards Kaze, I think it would be best if we dealt with the Pale Covenant now. I think we struck them a serious blow, defeating them at the ambush point, took out at least a few of their more powerful mages, They might be a little disorganized at the moment. Perfect for a counterattack, if you will.
I would agree, but you also just said you lost one of yours. Are you sure you're able to ambush them back?
Well,
Wait.
with you at our side, we're back to full strength.
Cannot argue with that.
Kieran, I have to ask, are we... tomorrow morning, are we leaving?
We'll leave when our business here is done.
Okay,
I don't know what Wiswick has to deal with, but yes.
No, he wants another one. I know that's one, but I know that's very well. Me
Ah.
too.
I thought you just said...
finished pouring your other one.
I didn't drink it yet.
No.
that's because Kaze Mage handed it over to him.
Oh, blessed Crescent Heart, why are these the fools who...
It's only fair you took my other one.
I suppose that is true. I got to say, it is nice
Look.
to have a drinking buddy. Who never drinks with me.
Oh, you always drink with me.
I can't do it.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
oh. You're
Ki-
so
Quite
quiet.
disconcerting.
Kieran, why don't you sit down?
I'm real stealthy.
Very, very still.
I can get by anyone unnoticed.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's one of your finer qualities, Lola.
Timber takes one of the empty glasses in front of him and takes out the flask and just empties it out, or not empties it out, but fills it up and then hands it to Kieran. We're not leaving tomorrow, right?
Again, depending on our work here, if we eradicate the Covenant, we can go on our way.
We'll make quick work of it.
Okay, let's go to bed.
It's like 2 o'clock in the
Kaze.
afternoon.
What? Oh.
I hope he gives you shit for pouring your own drink at the bar, because I've been always careful about that when it was my magic item.
I was gonna say a sleight of hand check for that, but
Yeah,
I wasn't prompted, so.
So
No, give me
Kieran's
a-
still just holding the glass in his hand of whiskey.
Two things. One, Timber, give me a sleight of hand check at disadvantage because I'm saying you're wasted right now.
Oh yeah.
Because you just said, let's go to bed, and it's 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I'm sure I thought it was much later, but disadvantage 20,
Also-
27.
27. Oh, I forgot you have magic
Wow.
hands.
Wait, plus 18?
Yeah.
He's got expertise from his tattoo.
Expertise?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have double expertise on a lot of things, and I only have a plus 13, so I don't know where
Well,
that number's
your
coming
double
from.
expertise comes from for magic stuff. He also has.
I have a tattoo that gives +5 to it.
Yeah,
Oh.
he essentially has gloves. Those magic gloves.
Gloves of Thievery.
He essentially has gloves of thievery as part of his magic item.
Oh.
Kieran, what is your passive perception?
28.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yes.
so you see this?
You, well, yeah. I mean, I imagine, yeah, you see him, but it's not just that you see.
Let's just see a lollop.
Yes, you
Lollips
actually
is-
do see Lullop doing something, but I've never run into a situation with such high rolls where the people tied for them. So I guess maybe just do a quick re-roll for seeing what Lollop's doing. Or do a roll for your perception on
Oh,
Lollop.
my perception.
Yeah.
27.
Okay. Yeah, you do notice Lollop. He rolled a 28 on his stealth. And he also rolled a 21 on a sleight of hand check. Timber, pick some herbs. Lollop is pickpocketing you.
Okay.
Do I see him doing it?
You're letting him pick what he gets pickpocketed?
No. I'm gonna randomize it.
Yeah. Go ahead and randomize it. Yeah. What's your passive, Katya?
17.
No, you don't notice it.
Oh damn! You got my Druid Sap.
Kieran, you do notice Lollop kind of has even he's doing this immediately after being like, "Hey everybody, I'm here."
Would you say that he has sticky fingers?
He does have sticky
Boo!
fingers. He's a fan of pickpocketing.
Still holding the glass of whiskey, Kieran will say, "My little friend, it's not nice to take things that don't belong to you."
He freezes for a moment, thinking you're not gonna see him if he doesn't move.
Well, look, what are you doing?
We
talked about this.
I didn't do anything.
What's in your hands, creature? I saw you throw that. What was that?
I don't have anything in my hands.
You
Go
just
pick it
threw
up.
something.
I don't know what you're talking
Kieran
about.
slams
pick it
the
up.
whiskey down so it splashes out over the side and steps up around Lollop to pick up whatever it was. What was it? Druidic?
It's a Druid Sap. Yeah.
All right, and is it covered in Lollop's?
It's slick.
Kieran's just gonna bend very far down to him, almost like his back is at a right angle, as he thrusts it in his face and goes, "Do you see what's all over this, little one?"
Okay. I stand up and sway. He didn't mean anything by it. It's a problem we're working on. He's sorry. You're sorry, right? You're sorry. You apologize.
Dude, Timber's not paying attention to this entire. Imagine he's just face forward,
Kieran slaps him
I'm really
on the
sorry.
chest and hands the druidic sap to Kaze without saying anything.
What?
And then, still looking at Lollop, goes, "You're quite the sneaky one, aren't you?"
Yeah. I've never
You-
been seen before. You're scary.
Oh, I see everything. But it seems like you also see a lot of things, yes? Was that okay?
I picked
Do
up
you know
Kieran's
anything about the Pale Covenant that currently plagues Nephradala?
Let me see. I'm gonna roll for that for him.
Okay.
Well, everybody knows that the Pale Covenant is, cutting up folks on the road, and you already said you've heard about the murders. There's the one out in the courtyard, but the last one was about a week ago. It was what did they murder? What did they murder? There's a Dragonborn fellow named Narasoth. There's it's a green Dragonborn. He's a green Dragonborn. And if you wanted to, you can maybe talk to his widow.
The Dragonborn that I met in the square yesterday. Was she Dragonborn or green? I guess they don't have to be of the same color, but
I think she was actually. Now that I think about it.
okay.
You could talk to his widow, Ishtiak. He's they had to. I see a lot of things when I'm, snatching stuff. People don't see me, so they just keep talking as if I'm not there. And the other day, I definitely was just hanging out in the Laughing Serpent. Katya was on a job, so I was kind of didn't have anyone to hang out with. So I was just kind of stealing stuff. And I took.
Shouldn't tell people that.
Oh, well, I took these house keys off of a guard for one of the wealthy folk. There was her name was Meltress, I think. She was drinking an awful lot here, more than Katya. You think she had just been fired?
Was she one of those killed by the Pale Covenant?
No, she's still alive. But a rich man fired her. And I mean, I just know that they're targeting the rich. I don't know, might use a wealthy man's house keys. Don't know if it's helpful. I just have it.
Thank you, Lollop. This Kieran's now, instead of like standing sternly, bent over, he gets up, cracks his back a little, and then leans back down into more of a crouch. And then kind of grabbing gently Lollop on the side of the face. Kieran's gonna look him in the eyes and go, Lollop, do you consider yourself a good person?
Oh, well, that's an awful big question. I usually leave the big ideas up to the clouds. But
It's an easy question, Lollop. Yes.
yeah, I think I'm
Yes.
a good person. I'm always nice to everybody.
Very good person.
I got a problem with grabbing things, snatching little things, but I usually give it back eventually.
Do you?
Katya makes me do it.
That's more like it.
Well,
She doesn't usually see me.
I heard
Right.
that.
well, not many have the eyes of an Elysian, though a drow are definitely a close competition.
Vol, if
Now,
you want
Lollop.
to. Ooh.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, nothing. Continue, get on.
Now, Lollop, if you would, continue to be a good person for me. See if you can find out anything else about the Pale Covenant. If anyone knows where they might be hiding, if there's any connections in town. Maybe you'll just get paid like your good mate over there.
Okay,
Katya.
hold on a moment. Hold on. First of all, no one tells Lollop what to do other than me.
I didn't tell him what to do.
It's not what it sounded like.
Simply made an offer. If he'd like to do something, I'd pay for his services.
It sounded like you were pressuring him into working for you. You got me. You don't need.
It's okay, Katya. What kind of gold we're talking about?
You don't have to.
I'm gonna be doing it
checks
anyway.
His money pouch. Oh wow, that can't be right. I have a lot of gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
No one likes a braggart.
Sorry, I forgot. Kieran's going to take out. You know what?
Yeah, we
No,
spent
he'll-
all ours.
He's gonna take out 5 gold and hold it up to Lollop and goes, "How does this look?"
5 gold per secret?
And then now looking at Katya, he goes, "Does that seem fair?"
He knows how to negotiate.
So be it. Here's an upfront payment for what you just told me, and I guess for the key.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the only trinket I got on me right now. I got other things. If you come back to the mud house, I got a whole pile of them.
That's
Like
okay.
I said, you should not tell people these things.
You've got the pile of keys?
Or some of them are keys. Some of them are like earrings. or there's a
Necklaces,
few
bracelets,
necklaces, shiny things. I like shiny things.
lots of shiny things.
Have you ever had something with a symbol like this? And he's gonna minor illusion. I don't know. I've been watching a little. I don't know. It'll be the stag that looks like a dragon. It's the
Stag
Pale
dragon.
Covenant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stag dragon.
stag. It's the dragon.
Dagrin.
A stagnant dragon.
I'd have to go look through the pile, but maybe.
Well-
I mean, if you want to go look through the pile, you can feel free. Katya is always welcome in the mud house.
I don't know that we should go during the day. Maybe we go at night.
Maybe.
That is where I know the crowd. at night.
Okay, understood. Regardless, any secrets, as you put it, Lollop, that you can get me about the Pale Covenant, I will pay 5 gold for.
You want me to look for the symbol too?
Yes, if you find that symbol anywhere or adorned on anyone's person, that would also suffice as information.
Okay, I like you people. They're good new friends, Katya. I hope they stick around.
They do seem decent people.
Also, Lala, be careful what you take out of people's bags.
We're working on it. Yes.
No,
Yes.
actually, for his sake, check your fingers, Lala.
Druid sap isn't.
It's just the skin contact stuff, so it should start to be itchy a little bit.
Oh no! You see, like his hand is like dried out of the normal slickness that it usually is. He's okay. I don't know about you. You know, weird things in your pockets.
And
People always have
Lollop,
weird things in their pockets. Stuff that does this, Lollop.
you don't have to steal anything. Simply gather information for me, okay?
Oh, it's a good thing you said that, because I was gonna steal things for you.
No. You don't need to steal, but thank you.
But
But you-
should I?
But you
If it's
could.
important?
Yes, you
No.
should.
No. No, Lollop, no. Do not take
Well,
anything. That
What if I find something with that symbol on it?
Then
take a
steal it.
local picture. No,
Lollop's getting mixed messages.
listen to me.
What are the ones paying? Timber's like spilling his drink when he's saying this.
We're paying!
We're paying.
I don't like where that's headed.
You have an excellent memory. So take a good look at whatever it is, but do not steal it. It could do more than dry out your hands.
He actually makes a very good point.
Okay, I'll just take a mental note.
You're very good at
Very
this.
good.
All right, I'm on the clock. See, he starts plopping out of here. Despite being so stealthy, you just like see the trail of water behind him.
Is
Sitting back
exist.
down.
Katya,
Yes. Your friend is very interesting.
Katya, is there a apothecary in this town?
Is there an apothecary in this town?
Yeah, there would be an apothecary.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. I don't remember the name at the moment. I passed it a couple times.
Timber takes out his book and slams it on the table.
Oh. Why are
Um,
you making? You don't need to. People slam things a lot.
Timber, he's gonna go through the pages and in a drunken state. Sean, what would you require for me to make a potion with the vial of Hydra blood to regrow Kiron's arm, or to make a potion of regeneration?
Ooh, okay. I think you would need to give me a.
This will be a disadvantage because I'm pretty.
Yeah. Like, give me either a investigation, a nature, or an insight check while you're reading the book. At disadvantage to see if you can find something in the book that would help with the Hydra's blood to create a regeneration potion.
Not bad for disadvantage. 14.
Oh.
too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Okay.
Sorry to make you do this now. I probably should have prepped you with this beforehand.
It's all good. It's all good. I would say that you find the passage. You find the passage on hydras and what you can use their blood and whatnot for to create things. You would find, you're reading it. You see the same note where you found that the hydra's blood could potentially be used for regenerative properties. And you would notice that there is a what do you call it? A footnote that is kind of like, see here, and it sends you off to another section. And there you would find the cross note would lead to another creature in there. That would be there's several different ingredients there that you can see that would all go towards a potion of regeneration that would help create the properties. And it's not like, oh, you need all of these. It's like any of these will contribute with the hydra's blood to help create a proper potion. And they kind of are like varying degrees of quantities based on the difficulty of finding them. You'll find things in there that definitely seem like very difficult to source. Like one of them is literally just a finger of a hag. Another one, Kieran's like, oh, I've got like 10 of these. They're snacks in Elysia. So like finger of a hag. You would need one is called ash blossom.
Okay.
And even though it sounds like a flower, this is a book on harvesting creature parts. Ash blossoms are actually these fungi-like growths that grow off of the back of a specific creature. Essentially these they're like magma tortoises. They can be found in the I forgot the name of my own peninsula. Shannon.
What peninsula?
Praxis.
Praxis.
Peninsula. They can be found in the Praxis Peninsula. You would find one that is a particular organ that can be found within a what's called a muck rock. They're very hard to find because they just look like rocks to most people, unless you go around a swamp literally hitting every single rock. They can be very difficult to find. They are highly regenerative, to the point where they don't really need to eat much, and they mostly just are rocks in swamps that are actually animals that people don't really know. They're very difficult to hunt. And the last one is a Mudbourne Axel dragon. And if you're able to kill a Mudbourne Axel dragon, they're pretty much any piece of them can be used to create a potion of regeneration. They're the most, besides some of the higher class Axel dragons, like cloud Axel dragons, or sea Axel dragons. The mud Axel dragons are the most accessible in swamp-like regions. Still dangerous because they are dragons, but they have intense regenerative properties that can be distilled with Hydra's blood as a stabilizer, essentially, to create a potion that will help individuals regenerate limbs, other body parts. It's very important, though, to get the dosage right with one of these potions. Otherwise, it can create significant issues for the individual.
Okay. Timber's reading this aloud to he slams the book on the table. He's pointing to Kieran, look, we should look for these and these. I think they would have this here.
Have I seen or heard of any of those things that he's pointing
Give me a nature check with advantage. As a monster hunter.
13.
Yeah, that was more so to see if you've seen one before. You've definitely heard of all of them. You've probably not as much with the magma tortoise, because it's just out of your reach, out of your range of coverage. So you probably haven't heard of those, but to you, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. There's magma turtles somewhere. And then you would know about muck rocks and mud axle dragons. You've never seen one necessarily before, but you know that muck rocks are, no one knows how many there are, and they're typically only ever found when they go, like, they come out of their camouflaged form. Someone accidentally sees them come out of it when the few times a year they actually move to a different spot after because they essentially, like fish in fish tanks, you've got those creatures that like those like snails that stick to the side and clean the tank essentially by eating it. They do that, but for like dirt and soil. They just sort of find a spot and just start filter feeding the mud until they're like, yep, I've got everything I got out of this. And then they kind of like crack open like crabs and go across to another spot and settle down. Highly resistant, highly regenerative. You can use them for more than just regeneration potions. You can use them for resistance potions as well, to create like a poison resistance or a fire resistance potion. Mud axle dragons you've heard of as well. All axle dragons are very rare because it takes them a long time to come to maturity. You could potentially try to track one down. You've studied how to, but you've never had to because they're typically not violent. So that's why people don't really chase after them, except for maybe some hunters looking for alchemy properties. Your order doesn't really hunt them because they don't typically threaten the ecology of the region or the people of the region.
While they're also looking at the book, I want to just like listen to the bar and just eavesdrop, and if I want to listen to see if my friends that I beat up last night came back.
You're just eavesdropping for the people in the bar right now?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, give me a perception check with advantage because it's hearing.
Ugh, I am not rolling well tonight. That's better. 24.
It's the dice accounting for your hungover nature.
Yeah.
I mean, folks aren't really talking about it right now. You know that this place doesn't really get well populated until dinner time, because people are really here for Sonny's meat pies more so than the entertainment or the drinks. It's pretty quiet right now.
So Kieran, I'm going to go see if I can acquire anything so I can fix that up.
Right, yes. Well, if we ever need to locate one of these creatures, I think I got one of those locate creature spells in the old Iluvania book, that
Oh, yeah?
prepare if we decide to follow this course of action.
Let me see if they have anything in town first, and then we'll go from there.
I could also
Sure.
help you track.
Be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Katya.
All right, so it's about 2:00 in the afternoon. What's everyone doing?
Go in there, apothecary.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? So we got apothecary for timber.
Wiswick is sitting inside of one of the carts as his golem keeps guard, and he's trying to learn those 2 spells that he's been trying to learn since forever.
Okay. Spending time on the spells.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It was 12 hours total. I don't know how much I've done already.
Well,
you
you
spent
were
some of the cart ride.
yeah.
doing
You
it
spent
already.
I think at least half of the cart ride doing it because you were driving for a lot of the cart ride.
Before and after, I think.
Yeah.
He took the reins from Scarlet.
Yeah. You were going to start researching on the 3-day journey through the swamps, I think, was what you were going to do. Which the second day kind of turned into some nonsense. So maybe you didn't do that much that day, but you could have done some on the last day of the journey if you wanted to put like 8 hours down for that day.
Okay, so 4 more to go. I start with this 1 to 2, so that makes 3.
Okay. Yeah, you can use the rest of the afternoon to finish it up.
That's the plan.
Okay. Kieran, what is your plan?
I think he's gonna stay to speak with Katya a little more,
Great.
unless she decides to disengage.
The only thing that I was gonna do is start getting supplies, but then I was going to come back and keep drinking.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, Timber, you can go, and eventually you would find the apothecary. Someone would point you in the right direction. It is Katya could actually point you in the right direction, even though she didn't remember the name because I didn't give her a name. But the name of the apothecary is Drops of Amber. Is the name. You would find it in the would actually be in the stilts, so you'd have to go a little deeper into town. You get to a point when the water is pretty much a foot deep, and all the structures are up on stilts, somewhat supported by old stone ruins. You can see some of them have essentially like put their home on stilts and then like use these old ruins as like basements, de facto basements. You would find this one is one of the larger homes here, and you can see, in sharp contrast to the like corporate Maximilian's apothecary, Maximilian's vials. This is like what you like the classic like. Yeah, this is a creepy house that someone makes potions in. Like the stilts look like they shouldn't be holding the building up. They look so feeble, and it's almost as if the building itself is more so like floating on the rock. It's got this wraparound porch in the front, made of what looks like really old rotting wood. The building itself, it kind of like curves up off the rock, and then curves again, and then kind of closes off at the top. You see there's a lot of violet tapestries hanging off of the rooftop, with silver threads throughout them. One, and they kind of all come together into one that's above the door, that has a large potion symbol on it, kind of symbolizing this is a shop. The potion itself, as opposed to the silver of the thread, is amber in color, with the Drop of Amber title above it.
Head on in. Clumsily open the door.
As you clumsily open the door, you would hear immediately a loud cawing noise in your face, as you would see a large raven, like the size of a dog, is just sort of perched right next to it. Almost like this raven, probably in normal entries, caws gentler. It's essentially the bell of this shop ringing, as you would see a head popping up from behind a glass display case of a kenku. A little kenku with a violet robes and a violet hood that kind of comes up just above the eyes. You see their feathers are like around the beak are kind of white, almost like you would see in like the aging of a mammal, but this is obviously a avian creature. It kind of pops its head up immediately and just goes, "Guests! Guests!"
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
Looking around, does he look like he's got a lot of monster guts, herbs? What does he got mostly? What's his?
All manner of things.
Okay.
You see hanging like the entrance is kind of like a narrow hallway that leads to a back circular area where you can see where the actual like tower is. You can see it moves up in curves, and you can see above there are other rooms up there, and tapestries hanging across, and you can see like shelves all over the place. Like the actual walls of the house are shelves themselves, covered in all manner of things. Big old jars, pickled eyeballs. You see one that is like almost like a diorama. It's got these 4 metal rods and then kind of strings attached to electrodes that are poked into what looks like some kind of animal heart that is beating in the middle of it. This is the classic, like, I am an apothecary. When I'm not selling my wares, I'm doing weird shit in here that I don't want anyone to see.
Yeah. Timber's like, my shop didn't look like this. Anyway.
Yeah. He doesn't sell a lot of tinctures for anti-aging.
Yeah.
He sells the real shit.
Yeah. Do you have any Mudrak? Or parts of a Mudrak?
Mukrak?
Mudrak, sorry. I read it wrong. Or
Part of Mukrak.
or maybe an Axel board Muddragon, or
Muddragon.
just parts of one. I'm willing to trade ingredients.
You see, he flaps his arms, and although Kenku can't fly, they can get a little bit of lift, like chickens can. And you see he latches onto the side of this tall structure. You see he's just kind of like crawling all across it, looking. You see he puts his whole head into some of the shelves, comes out and flares his feathers. Mark rock is rare.
If it's any place that had it, it would be you.
Drop of amber has many things. Rare things. Secret things, perhaps. Muck rock. Watch post. Let me check. And you see he kind of crawls into an entire shelf and disappears for a moment.
Timber just takes a little browse in the meantime. Killing time.
Yeah.
Unless I see something very significant there, that it's...
I imagine this place is so overwhelming with stuff that it's hard to like pinpoint a specific thing. Like you notice, like there's like just like one area is just a pile of feathers. It might be his feathers, it might be his pet raven's feathers, but they also could be anything's feathers, and there could be something super rare underneath them, but you don't know because this guy's kind of a hoarder. You do see like kind of like peeking into one room, you can see there's just like a whole core spawn corpse laid out there that is like cut down the middle and bisected open, that he must be butchering and harvesting from. You would see in another room an entire cultivation area where there's kind of like magical mist in there and several plants growing. He's got a real significant setup here, given this is normally a very popular trade route town. He used to have a lot of customers. You see he comes out of that same shelf. He's soaking wet when he comes out of it. And just sort of like immediately kind of flutters down. And looks at you and goes, Mark, rock, watch posts, dry.
Okay.
You'd hear behind you at this a very loud caw from that raven, as you can see a young woman stepping into the door. She's human. She has darker skin. She has these bright amber eyes, long dark hair in braids down her back. As you see, she kind of turns and doesn't even notice you at first, and is just saying, "Oh, Sebastian, I am sorry that I'm late. I'm sorry that I'm late. I got hung up. There's the crowd in the middle of town. Oh, hello. Welcome to the shop. Is Sebastian helping you?
That he is. He's trying to find a muck rock for me.
Oh, muck rocks.
Or maybe an Axel-born dragon scale, or...
Well, I can tell you at least there won't be any Axel scales here. We, despite maybe the look of the place, we tend to avoid poaching of Axel dragons. Muck rocks, on the other hand, we do have some watch posts where we keep an eye. We have some spells enchanted in those areas to keep an eye out for muck rock activity. I'm sure, judging by the slickness of his feathers, it looks like he went and checked one for you if he couldn't find any muck rock goods for you there. Unfortunately, we'll probably dry out.
Sean, what was the fourth ingredient? The fungus that grew?
Ash blossom.
Ash blossom. I had put ash, but I didn't know. Do you have any ash blossom?
Ash blossom. Probably not. It's been many months since we've been cut off from the north. So, very rare ingredient, not often requested. Normally, we would put in orders for folks who want those, and hire some traders to go and source them up in the north.
I didn't think
some
so.
of the border towns, the Praxis Peninsula, like Fjordnacht, the Dwarven City, or even some of those small mining towns like Cindermire sometimes have them.
I didn't think so. Okay. I'll be on my way.
Well,
Thank
if
you
you're
for
staying
your
in town, we can alert you if any of our muck rock outposts are fruitful and we find any goods. Very rare, very expensive, but if we find any, we can send someone over for you if you're staying in town.
Yes. I'll come to you.
Fair enough. We'll keep an extra close eye on the watch posts, since we know there's a buyer in town.
Thank you for your time. And Tipper's like, I'm gonna go.
Have a good day. She just sort of like looks at you, kind of like stumbling back and leaving, and she's like, and of course it's the drunks asking for muck rock, and goes back to work. But they essentially they essentially have like a Valheim portal to a spot where they know muck rock spawns every now and then, and they go and check it every now and then when they have a buyer. But okay, back in the tavern, if Katya is still there with Kieran, you can talk for a little bit.
Yep. I'm still drinking, but I was going to go start getting supplies ready for our journey. Sunny will take good care of you while I'm gone.
Well, of course, yes. Thank you. If you have a moment, though, I'm curious.
Sure.
I've only ever met drow from the mountains of the Savosi Peaks. Because that's just where they're located up in Elysia, right, Sean?
Yep.
Okay. But I take it you're not from there, are you?
No, I am not. I am from the Sapphirine Bluffs, which is in the mountains here, nearby here.
Ah, so still mountain folk.
Yes.
Interesting. I hadn't even considered that there'd be other mountain drow further south here. Tell
Point
me,
of clarification real quick for you, Shannon. Your monastery is in the Sapphirine Bluffs, but your home village would have been in the Heathring Mountains.
said that instead of the Saffron Puffs.
And the Heathrines are where exactly?
The Heathring Mountains are essentially they're the twin mountains that hold the Trinwald Valley. They're both called the Heathring Mountains, even though they technically don't connect at the bottom. They view them as one long U-shaped range.
So they're the
essentially-
ones that are below the. Are they north or south of Honduras?
They encompass Honduras.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's those that mountain range.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it touches the Gosururu Nation.
The northern peaks of it touch the Ghost
Yes.
Nation. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Kieran will kind of lean forward a little bit at this and go, do your people still keep to the more, how should I put this, tribalistic ways of the mountain drow? I mean, I guess from your attire, he says, gesturing to the numerous trinkets and spear made of the tooth of some creature. You also relish the hunt.
Yes, I do. I have not been home in many years, but that was the way.
And you said you were, sorry, a kobold hunter, yes?
Cobalt.
Cobalt.
Not like
Right.
the creature. Cobalt.
Of course.
Like the color. Hunter.
Ah,
Yes.
yes.
That is the monster. The title for a Leviathrok Order monster hunter.
The Vithrop Order. I'm not familiar.
Throk. Leviathrok.
Ah, the Leviathrok
Yes.
Order. I'm not familiar.
Like I said, we're monster hunters. We believe that, or we help people in villages that are plagued by creatures. And that is what I still do, and that is what many did a long time ago, but I am one of the very few left, if not the only one.
The only Cobalt hunter left.
Well, there would be other ones, but not that many. You know for sure there are others.
Take that back.
So few of you
Yes. Just
are.
a few.
Is it only drow that are allowed to be Cobalt hunters?
No. Anyone that proves himself worthy and able to survive the hunt can be a Cobalt hunter.
You also are, I'm sure you might just not be saying this, but it's devoted to Demukana.
Yes, the order is also very. We are devoted to the Mukna, the Wanderer.
The Wanderer. The I believe that's the old orc goddess. Mukra, was it?
Demukana.
Demukna.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
I don't know.
the Cobalt Wanderer.
I don't
Ah.
know where my notes are on that. I have them somewhere.
Of
but
course.
not in front of me.
Cobalt Wanderer, Cobalt Warriors. It's sometimes a simplicity of things in the world.
I think so.
Yes. Very interesting.
And
As
where
I
are you
recall.
from?
Oh, myself? Alicia, to the north.
I've heard of that place, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You are far from home.
Yes, well. My quest has brought me down here to. Well, you see.
What is this quest? You've mentioned.
You've heard of the Morseer conflict, yes? The same conflict that took your goddess's faithful companion.
I have.
Stefan knows this, so I'm sure Kieran knows it too. I'm sure he's read the lore page the gods gave him.
Yes. He's read the religion page. At least the old gods.
Of course, yes. Well,
Well, now he knows a lot about the new gods.
Always learning more. Well, during the Morseer conflict, it was the Wayward One. You're familiar with him, yes? Fun fact, I've met him. Decent man.
You've met
Decent.
him.
Oh, yes, well, I've technically died twice now.
It's impressive. And all you've lost is an arm.
Well, and some 800 years off my life, but small sacrifices for carrying out the will of my divine Iluvanya.
Devotion like that, you'd make a good hunter.
Some would say I've become a good hunter already from it, though I don't hunt monsters per se, unless you count an ancient Wareham devouring the Feywild as a monster. I guess I'm not really hunting him. I kind of know where to find him. It's just
Your quest, friend. What is your
Yes.
quest?
apologies. Oh, my staff. Well, I can show it to you later, but I'm searching for shards of my goddess's moon, scattered across the land when she was originally killed by the Drakes, Hairforced and Barrett.
Hair forced.
What did I say?
Forced. Hair forced. Hair forced.
I was trying so hard not to say Frost. Hairforced.
There you go. I know that one.
Yes. So,
And what is the purpose of these shards?
well, to give us strength to fight back against the Pallid King, a new threat to our realm.
Pallid King.
Yes,
Mayor of Pallid King?
No.
I do not know who that is or what that is.
I don't know if relic is the right word for it, but as the Wayward One was, I believe it was as he was seeing the loss come upon him, he left one final. Actually, it seems like he has a few plans still in motion, but one of them was planting his pet worm at the base of the ash tree. Supports the Feywild and to let it grow off its power until it was ready to erupt and take the Wayward One's fight back to this plane once more. Ultimately, it seems, for our final destruction.
Oh, we don't want that.
Exactly, which is why we're here now, seeking these shards to hopefully gain the power. Though, at this point, one of our other companions, you'll meet him soon, a governor of the Gwen and Oriel, we're seeking allies as well. So, maybe after all this is done, we can talk about continuing your contract with us. You ever hunt gods?
Cannot say that I have, but I do like a good challenge.
Slamming the table with his hand, Kieran goes, good.
Good.
Challenges make us stronger.
That they
I
do.
think this will make for a good partnership, Katya.
I feel the same. Kieran.
Yes. Well, I don't want to hold you up anymore, and
I've
Well,
got
I've seen-
nothing to do. I was just going to be proactive, otherwise I'd sit here drinking all day.
yes, well, they say things, and I'm trying to think of the saying where they talk about idle minds make for idle things.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Idle hands.
I know it's in Elysian. Yes, Paradice, but I can't think of the common translation. Anyways, I've sent Lullab off to do some research, but I shall.
Yes, I know. I was there when you did it.
Yes, I was
and
making.
just for
transitional
future reference. Just for future reference. Don't ever tell him I said this. Like, ever. But Lollop is a good person. Do not take advantage of him.
You said that before. When I asked him if he was a good person, you
Yes.
specifically came out and said that you thought he was a good person, so...
But now I'm saying it like I actually mean it.
Why would you say things if you don't actually mean it?
Okay, this conversation is starting to not make sense. I will be back in a little while.
Of course. Thank you, Katya.
The chugging of several beers has made you a little off.
Yep. Especially
like
when I
listening
said
to
my
Sharon.
own name asking for a drink.
Yeah. All right. What's everyone doing at this point?
I'm going to find supplies.
Okay.
Timber's going to go meet Gwiswick at the wagons and just pass out in one of the wagons.
All right. We got one passed out drunk. We got one drunk doing some day shopping. We've got a gnome who's finishing up some spells over the next few hours. Kieran, what is your plan?
Huron is gonna try to do his own investigation to try to find the Pale Covenant.
Okay. Where would you like to start? Or what are you looking for in town?
So he's got two leads, right? He's got a green dragonborn woman named
Ishtiak.
Ishchak, and he's got a fired guard for a rich man.
Meltress.
So, you know what Kieran's gonna do? He's gonna go to Sunny, and go. I guess Katya will have left, and then just so he can get the best information, R and go. Hello, Sunny, was it?
Yes. My name is Sunny.
Yes, and I'm Kieran. It's nice to meet you. I was wondering if you could help me out. I'm looking for two individuals. Me and my party, as you've seen, are passing through, and well, the Pale Covenant seem to be no friend of the town, and they are no friend to us either. I was hoping to speak with the Dragonborn widow, Ishtak. I heard her husband was taken.
Shame. Narsoth and Ishchok are good people. Did not deserve such tragedy.
Yes, well, could you tell me where I might find Ishchak now?
She lives in the in the Drowned district. You pass through the stilts, you'll find the Drowned district. You'll recognize their home. It is built atop a peaking dragon statue. You'll see the head of the dragon sticking out of the water, and their floating home is next to it.
Fantastic, thank you. And I was told by young Lollop, I'm assuming he's young, actually, I guess just because of his size.
Well, all of the Axelborn look young.
Right. I guess that's the nature of their species. He told me that he had overheard a ex-guard of a rich man in town. Can you elaborate any more on this? I think he had his name, but I didn't write it down.
He didn't actually. He gave you the name of the guard, Meltress.
Meltress. So he would say, I believe the god's name was Meltress, and do you know who she was employed for?
Yes. Lala must have overheard that here, since most folk will come here to drown their sorrows or come here to have a... It's a strange crowd that comes here. They're either here for a delicious meal or they're very depressed. Sometimes I'm unsure which one Katya is. Probably both. But yes, Meltress came here the other day, and she was lamenting losing her job with Yexorid. Yexored is a very wealthy man in Nephradala. He is a important member of the trading unions here. Lost a lot of wealth from these attacks from the Pale Covenant, given the cutting off trade. But he's a very optimistic man, and every time anyone's heard him speak on the matter, he trusts that the mercenaries coming to town will be able to deal with it in no time, and that trade will resume shortly. He is member of the councilate that is in charge of Nephradala. Leaders from each of the guilds and unions come together to make decisions for the town itself. They're the only folks who walk around with guards, so if you see someone with guards, they're a member of the councilate.
Ah, good to know. And might you know where this
Yexored.
Yexorid lives?
Yexored lives in the old quarters, this section of town. You see some of the old stone structures that are still opulent and have been restored more than the others. Those typically tend to be the leaders of the guilds and trade unions' homes. Yexorid, I believe, lives... the way you'll know his home is that it has the tallest tower in town. And it is only one of the very few buildings not connected or augmented from an old structure. His estate there has an old... He does live in one of the old Dragonborn manors, but he's also constructed a new tower in there. He seems to enjoy being able to see the entire town from up high.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for the information, Sonny. And I'm sure I'll see you soon enough.
Well, if you need any more information or just want to come by for a meat pie, it gets very busy around dinner time. So I should suggest you come back by then.
Very good. With that, Kieran goes out the door.
Excellent. All right, where would you like to go?
He's gonna grab his staff and check in on Wiswick and Kaze. Kind of pop in and go, Wiswick, Kaze, I'm going to be going around town, gathering some more information about the Pale Covenant. Are you interested?
Yeah, I'll come along. I just think I just need to rest my head for a minute.
Sorry, I've got a lot of work to do. I'm probably gonna stay here and finish up. If you find anything, let me know. Just give me a heads up. Maybe I'll send Jet with you if you need me.
I can always send you a sending if need be.
Seems like a waste, honestly. I mean, I have message, but
It's never a waste.
I gotta initiate. Okay, sure.
Have either of you seen Governor Oriel and his retainers recently? I know he had gone off to...
So the retainers are with the carts where they are, the wagon.
Oh,
he went off, yeah, but you wouldn't have seen him yet.
Okay.
Maybe we should get some healing potions. If you're around town, you see a place that has selling them. Could be a good idea.
I could make some...
Maybe you want to go buy some healing potions. Kira?
I think I'll do that.
No. Timber's pride is a little hurt.
It's nothing personal, Kaze. You have other, more important things, I think, to use those ingredients on, yes?
No, I'm short on cash.
Oh. Well, if you ever need anything, let me know. I still have some of the money, Horiel.
Alright, I will come with you.
Would you like some water?
Take a walk, shall we? I would actually like some water.
Let's take a walk.
Okay.
Kieran gives him some water.
Yeah, Kaze, you got a day drinking hangover right now.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yep.
Yep.
I know.
You stopped day drinking, and now you're
just like
feeling worse than ever. You had a very short nap, and you're having some water now, and you're. All right. Where are you heading to first?
Quickly scanning the square that we're in. Anyone with guards?
Give me a perception check.
Me to give you perception. 24.
24. Okay. You would see a gentleman who is wearing very nice robes and whatnot. He appears to be a half orc, and he is currently just kind of like walking the shops, kind of hands behind his backs, just sort of perusing with two guards following. Very only a couple feet behind him. One of the guards looks like a Goliath, and the other guard is a full-blooded orc.
So
but that looks like the only guarded individual in the square right now.
Kieran, what's your plan? What are your thoughts? What do you want to do? Have you ever contemplated life in general, like just death as a whole? People come back from death, and we both died, and didn't feel like I feel like death has less of a meaning now. I don't know. Scarlet just died, and I'm a little shocked, but I'm also like, oh wait, there's still a chance. I don't know. You Kaze just staring out. I'm like,
things are a little different for those blessed by.
Or have friends that are blessed.
Oh, I think we're all blessed in different ways. Or cursed in some regard. Kieran says, pointedly looking at Kaze at this. Though I understand what you mean. When I first died at the hand of Myas, it was quite troublesome to reconcile that fact. I had never planned. Well, I had hoped. It was that little bit of hope that kept me through the encounter with Myas, but. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, no, you were answering. I just blabbered some thoughts from my head.
Well, we both have a tendency to do that, don't we?
Yes, we do. What are your immediate plans? What do you want to seek out right now?
Well, Kieran says...
What have you gathered?
Stabbing the staff in to the ground and straightening his back a little. I've learned that the Pale Covenant seems to be taking down those in this town that are more well off. There was a dragonborn man that was killed, and his widow remains. The little creature Lollop suggested maybe going after him or her, excuse me, for more information, and then also mentioned that he had procured this. Kieran says, bringing out the key to one of the richer individuals of the town, a Yex Orid. Simply offering it because I think he was scared of me.
Probably, but that is useful if we want to explore that option.
Right.
No. Now, these rich people, I saw you eyeing those guards earlier. What is one thing that all these rich people have in common in this town? Is it that they seek protection from folk? How do they become infiltrated or get killed? And the most important question is how they are killed. If it's different every single time, if it's Maybe it's related to the guards that are protecting them. Maybe it is... I mean, it could be some outside force like we've seen in Magin set when we first met each other. Some assassins that come in with some... But that's too cheesy, and our gods wouldn't allow that. Or the one... Yes, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't allow that. He would come up with something more creative than that.
It's the exact same assassins. Blank faces.
What?
No, you raise some good points, whether it's an inside job or simply outsiders infiltrating at night.
So let's go off your lead. You have good leads. I was just spouting your exact thoughts.
Well, it's always good to touch base. Right now, I see one of what I take to be a council member of Nephradala pacing the stalls. It might behoove us to introduce ourselves and let it be known that the champions of Illuvania, or the Wayward Five,
I think we're the
are in
Wayward Three.
town.
Are we the Wayward Three now? I think we are.
Well, they're still with us in spirit, I know that. They're out of the fight at the moment, but I'm sure they will return to us one day. I pray, at least. I will not rest until there's a conclusion to that story. But, regardless...
I am still recovering. Kiran, why don't you do the talking?
Okay, just keep your eyes and ears open and see if you can gather anything while I speak with this individual here. He says, motioning to the half-orc, was it?
Yes. Yeah, he's probably about... he's pretty tall. Not as tall as you, of course, but he's approaching your height. He's probably like 6'4". He has these long red robes on, like deep, like vermilion red, and a very, very probably he's not as ostentatious as the rich folk you saw on the road, or the ones you saw behind the curtains. He had the only sign of wealth on him is the guards and a very well crafted beaded and metal belt that has a very large silver buckle at the front that has runes carved into it. But other than that, the clothes are nice, but they're not as ostentatious. And he's got this very pale green skin that's almost gray. It's like a moss green.
I was just repeating pale as that was running.
That's the clue. His greenish skin is pale. He must be part of the covenant.
Sorry.
But he has a completely shaved head, and these red eyes. They are red, matching his shirt, and clean-shaven face with quite pronounced tusks.
Fantastic. Kieran will walk up to him and at about a 6-foot distance from him.
Pandemic.
Huh?
Sorry. 6 feet.
Kind of, yeah. Raises his staff a little and goes, greetings, my good sir. Might I trouble you for a quick word?
You see he, as you're walking up, you can see like he has been kind of like waving off people who come up to him. Because you see like plenty of merchants are like running up with like different goods, they see someone like him, they know he has wealth. You see someone like running up with like a whole chicken held at its neck, and just sort of like holding it up like, this is the chicken for you.
My good sir, I have a chicken.
you see one of the guards has to kind of come up and like push the guy aside. He won't stop trying to sell him this chicken. But you come up and you ask him for a moment of his time. He'll turn to you. You see the guards do kind of step forwards. They're in front of him now as you approach, especially considering like little merchants, they're just shoo them away, but you're coming up in armor and so they step up a little bit, and you see he kind of holds his hand up to them to stop as one of them does seem to be drawing a weapon at your approach, at least half drawing it to show you that they've got good steel.
Right.
What is it that you would inquire from me?
I understand it that you might be a member of the council here, Nephradala, correct?
That is true. You look as though you are not from Nephradala.
Oh, is it that obvious? No, I am from the far north. Myself and my companions here, we arrived but a few hours ago in your humble town after well, honestly, a dreadful fight on the road against the Pale Covenant. I'm sure you are familiar with them.
The roads have been dreadful of late, yes. And I simply know you are not from here because I walk these streets every day and I know all the faces of Nephradala.
Ah, something any good leader should do. I
I
respect.
agree. And I am a counselor. Auric Vashthri is my name.
Oric Bastri,
Correct.
it is a pleasure to meet you. I am Kiran Islastana, cleric of Iluvania.
Ah,
This here is my friend and companion. And he takes a moment and looks at Timber, Kaze, and goes,
Timber.
Timber, excuse me.
Timber. Timber, are you in hybrid form right now?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He's too hungover to be able to hold a human form.
Yeah. Timber. You from the south, Timber? One of the shifters.
Yes, I am.
So you are from Ferathris?
A small town from there, yes.
Lying. Give me a deception check.
Sure.
What town are you from? You're not as far from home as our friend Kiran Isilastame, but still far. This is the first NPC who said your name right, I think. Because first time I've ever said it right. I said Stame.
But you know what? You're allowed to mess it up as many times as you want.
Damn it.
Stane, not Stane.
I was born around there. I grew up a little further north. I got a 14 on my deception.
Okay. He'll eye you suspiciously for a moment, but he believes you. Or he seems to believe you. Well, it is good to have one of this land with you as you travel. But yes, the roads have been dreadfully dangerous of late, and we have been trying to find a way to deal with this problem, me and the other counselors.
Imitating a bow that he would have learned from Cal, Kiran does a sweeping gesture with his staff and bends low and goes, "Well, look no further, councilman, as my companions and I have a personal beef, is it, with this Pale Covenant."
Any sort of meat metaphor will do. Steak. We've got some
Kind of holds
steaks
a
in
hand
here.
up to stop you from talking, but also just to kind of like wave off the bowing. He doesn't seem like the bowing type of leader.
It was more like a presentation kind of
Yeah.
bow. Like, oh, look at me, I'm fancy.
There's no need for this, but beef, meat. You have meat with.
No, that was just the metaphor for we have.
It's supposed to be a joke for the
It was.
viewers.
It was. Yes.
You have a personal grievance with these.
Correct.
Covenants.
Indeed.
They took,
They took one
of
of our own.
So then, if you've come here to deal with the Pale Covenant, I suppose you wish to speak with the council on the issue, and that's why you have come up to me.
I was simply going to gather information from you, but if it's better to meet with the whole council, whatever you think is best.
Well, if I were you, I would not want to deal with the politics of the council.
No, politics are not our interest.
It's also, if your interest is rewards, then the council would be the place to go. Though
The
if you-
only reward I seek is the death of the followers of Hairforce.
Give me a quick charisma check of your choice, besides deception, obviously.
I'm just gonna roll straight charisma.
Cool.
13.
13, okay. You see he takes a moment and kind of examines you a little closer now, Huron. He seemed to have been a little bit more disengaged before this, kind of just sort of, oh, okay, people are coming up to me, travelers, whatever. I'll deal with it. Do it every day. But then kind of at this, he turns and fully faces you now and steps closer between the guards who step behind him. So he's on more equal footing with you. I respect such value and determination. I would encourage you not to work with the other council members on this, and I will be happy to potentially help you. The other councilors are a bit, what I would say is detached from the people of this town. They do not see the dreaded cultists as threats to our people, but rather threats to their coin purse, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I understand.
The only other counselor who seems at all concerned with the people, or at the very least not concerned with his coins, is Yexerid. But his optimism is a bit frivolous, I'll say. He may not be of the counselors who don't wish to do much at all except hire cheap mercenaries. But he seems to think that it will just blow over on its own. The issue will solve itself. The Pale Covenant will move on. If we don't show that we're afraid of them.
Sir, as far as questions for this covenant, in the murders, is there any correlation between any of the deaths? Are there any from the council? Are they just merchants?
Most of them have been merchants.
Have they sorry, I apologize.
Started with smaller merchants, those who could not protect themselves with guards, but still well-off individuals. But as the Covenant grew stronger, it seems they have begun to challenge those who have the means of protecting themselves more.
I heard that there was a death in the town recently. Is that correct?
Kind of looks to the both of you. That scene has already been cleaned up at this point. Yes, there was a death today. Well, a body discovered today.
Outside.
Bodies. This was the first one that was not within their own home, that was displayed. I have spoken to some of the council members, and we feel it is a calculated message to tell us to be more afraid of them. That most of the council members have the means to protect more to hire more guards than some of the lower ranking merchants. The one who died today is not a merchant, but son of a wealthy merchant who is not in town, but far north. Perhaps a message that we cannot escape them, even if we leave Nephradala. all those who have been killed, within their homes at least, have had their personal effects taken from them. Things that don't matter even. Not worth any gold. Personal things. Letters from friends, family, pictures. They seem to favor taking what those they kill care most about. They'll leave other signs of wealth on them like rings and gems, but take all else. And most bodies are found painted white like bones. Some, and now he kind of like steps in closer to talk quietly with you. If you truly are here to help, then there's more I can tell you.
Should we go somewhere more discreet?
But I do not want people in the town to hear these things. To avoid panic.
Of course.
If you follow me, we can go to my estate. It's a very short distance from here. And he starts leading you off towards where his estate is. You can tell once you're led away that you've entered into the wealthy kind of like heart of the old quarters. The old quarters is mostly merchants and selling grounds, but there's also these guild houses that you now see where the wealthy members of the guilds live. His estate is quite, as you might guess from his appearance, more humble than the other ones. It's nice, but it lacks opulence, and it really is just enough space that he needs, as opposed to large gardens and whatnot, and statues and all of that. It's a fairly humble estate. You go inside and you can see as soon as you walk in, the guards are replaced by two other guards. A small young half-orc boy comes running up to him, and you see he kind of like lifts him up in his hands and spins him around a little, and as a human woman comes up to him, and she has darker skin, dark hair. She looks like she's a Gosu remnant human, not a human from the north. And he kind of shoos them away, though, as he leads you all into the back room area. You can see he has a young family here. He's probably a younger member of the council. But he brings you into the back and sits down, pours you each a cup of water. Some of the bodies of the dead. Well, in the middle of the night, we've noticed some of them returning from the dead, standing. Undead creatures now. They don't seem violent at first. They actually wander like lost critters, animals. I've caught them trying to climb trees, trying to climb walls, hiding. But if you get close to them, they lash out violently. Frightened more so than aggressive. If you wish to learn more, you might suggest speaking with Ishtiak. She's the widow of one of the last victims. She's been coming to the council quite angry with how little we've done so far to deal with the problem.
Of course, and you think she would have more information for us?
Maybe not information. She may have witnessed the attack itself. You could also look into where it happened. From what we know, she has not done much with the scene.
Tell me, do you have any information gatherers for your council? For the whereabouts of where they might be
We
hiding?
hire people when needed. We've been trying to hire mercenaries to track down the Pale Covenant. The other members of the council have been strict with the purse. It is our money that is the council's budget. We don't keep coffers. We don't tax our citizens to do so. Each year protects themselves, and we've not had issues like this come up. You had to settle disputes between guild members before, settle disputes between citizens, but as you can see, we don't have guards in town. We don't keep investigators on retainer, so it has been hard to find folks to come to this town to look into it for us. Some mercenaries have, and we've sent them out. Some die out in the swamps because they think that they can handle the fens, but others have returned. Those who return either found nothing or have quit immediately. There may be some still in the town, lived and quit their contracts, broke their contracts. Most leave immediately and head south.
Would you know of any of these individuals that are still in town?
I can look into it for you and see if I can find out if any of the most recent returnees have stayed around or haven't left yet. I can put one of my house guard on it to find them.
I would appreciate that, and I apologize for the morbid question, but do you still have any of the remains of the individuals killed?
The only body we still have is the younger lad from today. We burn them now, as soon as we can.
Can we take
His
a look?
bodies- Yes, as my friend here was saying, may we inspect the body, have a moment with it?
I can go and see if we can get you access. We have been keeping their bodies in Yexarid's estate because it is larger. He has more capacity, and truthfully, he hires more folk, more staff, specialized interest. He has his own apothecary, he has his own healers, he has his own of everything. Instead of using the merchants around town. He sources his own butchered meat and vegetable.
Interesting. Almost like he's self-sufficient of the town.
He likes to keep his money within his own walls.
Let's go walk and then talk.
Of course. We shall go to Ishtax now then, and when we return, maybe we can speak with, or inspect the body.
I will put one of my house guard on finding out if any of the mercenaries have stayed in town, and I will go and speak with Yexarid myself to see if we can get you access to his estate.
Fantastic. Should we meet you here then, after we're done?
Yes, if I have not returned, then Darulma, my wife, will accept you into the home to wait until I come back.
Fantastic. Orchid, thank you very much. I believe this will be the start of a lovely partnership.
But I appreciate your respect and honesty in coming up to me. I've had to deal with many mercenaries over the last few weeks, and I can say you are much better company than the sellswords from the south.
I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. You are quite the council member yourself, and one any leader should look up to.
I appreciate your honesty. Now go. I shall go and see what I can do for you. Ishtiok, you know where to find her?
Yes, we were told by Sunny of her house in the
Drown district.
Drowned district. So
Excellent. Well,
away.
We go.
Here later. All right, so you begin to head off towards Ishtiak's estate in the Drowned District, and that's where we're going to take a quick break. So, folks, stick around with us as they investigate the Pale Covenant's presence in the town a little bit further. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay, get ready and go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to
Hi.
Advantage in Paradise. Our heroes have been settling into Nephradala. Kiran and Timber have been investigating to try to find leads on the Pale Covenant, which they have found a small lead through the council member Orik Vashtri regarding what's been happening, what the council's been doing about it, and he has also led them again to go speak with Ishtiak, the widow, to Narasath, the dead green dragonborn. He's also going to try to get them access to the body of the most recent murder, which had happened earlier or the previous night, as well as trying to connect them with one of the mercenaries who fled the Pale Covenant. But right now, they are heading towards the Drowned District, which is in the northern portion of the town near the bay. And I believe they might be stopping by to pick up their friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would be around closer to dinner time now, as Wiswick is finishing up with his spell work. And Katya has returned from purchasing supplies for the journey south. What would y'all like to do?
Find her back in the Laughing Serpent, by the way.
So, Kiran stops by the carts first. Is Oriel back?
He is not back, actually.
Speaking to the two retainers then briefly, can you describe them for us, Sean?
Have I not described them at all?
I don't think so. I don't think we've gotten a name or anything about them.
They've just been blank.
They're just the retainers.
Yeah.
I feel like I did once, but now I don't remember what I explained them as, so I'm going to do it now.
Rosenstern and Gildenkrantz.
Oh, I wish, actually. Yeah, Rosen and Gil. Those are the two. There's Rosen and Gil. Rosen is she's probably in her 30s, early 30s. She has kind of maroon, kind of a burgundy hair color. She is primarily more of the cook of the two retainers, and also she does some minor medicinal herbalism, not to the extent of Kaze, more less magical than Kaze's. And she's also a seamstress. She does a lot of repairing of clothing and whatnot. Gil, on the other hand, is a little bit more rough around the edges. He is the cart. He manages the cart. He does repairs on the cart. He also does repairs on. He's actually kind of. Probably should have told Scarlet this, but he's also somewhat of a smith because he does the repairs on the governor's armor and weapons and make sure that they're in tip-top shape.
Horseshoes.
Horseshoes. He keeps the horseshoes going. He makes better horseshoes than Scarlet did. Which, maybe if you made better horseshoes, Scarlet.
You don't need horseshoes on
Would've
an
been
undead
buffer.
horse.
Yeah.
That's true.
She worked hard on those horseshoes.
But yes, there would be Rosen and Gil there. Gil is tending to the horses and the carts, while Rosen is actually kind of pacing around, worried.
Walking up to them, Kiran would go, Rose and Gil, we've definitely had conversations before. How are both of you?
Kiran, it was lovely talking to you the other day. You see Gil just sort of keeps tending to the animals and kind of ignores you all. Rosen comes up to you and says, Master Isidastane.
Mr. Kiran, we've gone over this.
I'm sorry, it's just...
It's okay.
You grow up in the service of great houses, you tend to... Anyway.
What makes them so great, I wonder. Anyways.
Truthfully, I'm a bit worried Oriel has not come back. Since he went looking for an Empire representative here. I mean, he's capable on his own, of course, but
Of course.
he tends to check in sooner than this.
Do you know where he was headed to meet with the representative?
Well, I know there's a council chamber that he went to first to see if he could find any of the members of the councilate here. But he was primarily trying to find Gwyn representation, since most of the towns or regions of Farathris have some sort of governor in the region that is representing the interests of the Empire within Farathris.
Leaning over to Kieran, why don't you send him a message?
Ah, of course. Sending. Yeah, Kieran almost just like looks away from Rosen and just sends a message to Oriel that goes, "Greetings, Oriel. I hope all is well. Just checking in to see where you are at and if you made contact with the people you wanted to. Love, Kieran."
Hugs and kisses.
I think I reached my 25 limit.
What's the ruling on a sending that goes to an unconscious person?
I don't think
Does it
they
specify?
can answer.
They can't answer. I figured they can't answer, but I was just wondering if there's a way, like you.
Don't they have to like pick up the phone? You know.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is like, can you tell with sending that the spell got to the person? They just aren't responding, or
I mean, so it doesn't say. The only thing it specifies is if the target's on a different plane of existence. But
Okay.
We've gone over that before.
Then I would say you can tell that it went through, because you also know how it feels when someone is dead and you send a sending, because you felt that.
That's true.
With Robert.
And what's his name? Way back when, in the capital of Caerdolan.
Oh, that's
that
right.
wizard.
The
in
wizard,
academy.
yes.
All right.
You know what it feels like when it doesn't reach the person because they're not alive or on this plane of existence anymore.
Right.
This, you know that it reached him, but there's no response. I'm not going to say you know whether he's unconscious or not. There's just no response.
Right. Kind of sitting there for a moment, just waiting. Waiting. I reached out to him, but I haven't heard anything back. That's unusual. Usually, people, when they hear a voice in their head, they tend to respond immediately.
He didn't like pass out at the tavern, or he didn't like go get drunk. Like,
Oriel doesn't strike me the type to get drunk at this hour, and when there are more important things to be done.
why would he not answer you? I cannot think of a situation where he.
Well, unless he's incapable of responding.
But in what situation?
He may have taken a nap, though that's woken people up before when I've messaged them. He may be incapacitated some way. Maybe he's just very busy and can't bother with me, though I find that doubtful.
Wait, Kieran, what if I try to contact him in the dream?
Well,
Do you
I
dream when
believe-
you're unconscious?
sure. I was gonna say, I think that Wiswick could also scry on him.
That is a
If
nicer
need be.
idea. Physic!
Or...
Guys, I mean, can we just go to where we thought he was going? Do I really have to scry on people all
Yes.
the time?
I mean, it's quite a nifty trick, but no, you are right. We can just go search the council chambers and go on a little walkabout, if you will.
I mean,
There's-
yeah, it's probably like 5 minutes away. Like, it's not like he's been missing for days or something like that.
Yes. Don't worry, Rosen. We'll find your...
Your
the
master.
man in charge of you. Master is such a... I don't like that word.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see if our new friend Katya can bring us to, or if she knows of any Gwyn representatives here. Have you seen her return? The
She's
drag?
probably in the bar.
Yes.
Let's just take a walk over there.
Would you like to come with us, Wiswick? After we look for Oriel, we have some other business hunting down this Pale Covenant.
We could probably use your help.
I'm here at a good time. I'm happy to come with. Might leave our my big friend over here at the carts though. I still don't trust this town.
That's fair. I don't think they've given us a reason to not trust them yet, but to each their own. Kieran walks up to the door of the tavern and opens it with his staff, not fully going in, and looks in, seeing Katya, goes, "Ah, my Cobalt friend. We were wondering if you could help us again."
Of course. There's nothing happening here anyway.
It would appear our companion, the Governor Oriel, well, I don't want to say he's gone missing, but we can't quite find him. Last we knew, he was heading off to the council chambers, searching for any representation of the Gwyn here. Would you know of any Gwyn elves within the town?
I'm not sure about any Gwyn, but I know where the council chambers are.
Good enough. Let's start there.
Okay.
We'll lead them.
All right.
Slightly.
You lead them. It's not too far. It's across the square, kind of in the right before it leads into the Stilts district. There's kind of like raised stonework, kind of to keep it dry. It's one of the few places that doesn't actually has like a above ground foundation that's built, and it's in like a renovated, very old, what probably was the ruins of a town center originally here. When you enter, there are 2 guards at the doorway. You would see 2 hobgoblin guards in about half plate armor. Each of them has kind of like a pike and a shield. And they are just standing by the doors. At this point, the doors are open, but they are just standing there. They don't stop you, though.
Stopping by them, Kieran goes, "Excuse me, my good sirs. Have you seen a friend of ours? He's a Governor Oriel Clay. He..."
Minor illusion the face.
Minor illusions the face. He looks like this. We're looking for him. Have you seen him?
They kind of look to each other, and then look back at you. "We're not here to answer questions. You can go and ask the council members."
Zen, can you take us to the council members to answer these questions?
I can do that. Let's go.
How rude, Kieran says, out loud in front of them, and walks past.
They follow behind you as you're walking in.
Cool.
Inside, you would see this chamber is so like the whole the building itself is kind of like a circular structure with a domed ceiling. The dome itself has this like huge fractured portion of it that lets this daylight kind of come in, like a beam of light. You can see there are several where there's a table in the center, a large stone table. Around it is set up kind of these canopies of various colors. Each representing probably one of the council members. You can see that there are 5 of these canopies. There are desks underneath them, and you would see there's just one council member there. Probably why there's only 2 guards here. You would see a hobgoblin, a female hobgoblin, sitting at one of these desks, writing some letters, as there's a few torches lit in the area, but there's still some of that dim daylight coming in, as one of the guards kind of steps ahead of you towards where this person is. Counselor Xeris, There are some outsiders here to ask you questions. They bring the Cobalt Hunter with them. Xiris is Xiris.
That's not how I spelled it.
But you would see she has that that vermilion skin tone of a hobgoblin, with the long brown hair, long straight brown hair, two kind of tresses of it coming down from over the ears. Very Elrond-like haircut, I would say. As she has a very... She's got some resting bitch face, I'll say. As she just sort of like turns an eye up, stopping writing, and then kind of gives out a sigh. What can I do for you, travelers? I'm a very busy woman.
Of course, Councilwoman. We are travelers through your town. We were accompanied by one Governor Oriel Clay. We understand he would have come through this way. And when we tried to contact him, he did not respond, and we're simply worried about our friend. Have you seen him of late?
Governor Clay.
I said it would make our day.
I think, yes. There was a human man who came in earlier, looking for Gwyn in the region. A few more of the council members were here, and we told him that the Gwyn representative had left months ago. It went south. He left here with Yexarid and Saravine to go and discuss what is happening to the town.
Do you know where they went?
They were heading back deeper into the district of the old quarters, probably to go to one of their estates. Probably, if I know Yexarid, he would have insisted on going to his estate, but Saravine is almost as wealthy as him, so she may have insisted on going to her estate, but they left to go discuss the matters of the Pale Covenant.
Well then, he must be in good hands. I'm sure he was simply just too busy. Thank you very much, Councilwoman. We are sorry to have taken up so much of your precious time. And with a smile, Kieran turns on his heels and walks out.
You would notice that she kind of keeps eyeing you as you're walking out, Kieran. With your passive, you would notice that she kind of calls one of her guards over as you're walking out, and seems to keeping eye contact, or not eye contact, but keeping an eye on you all as she's whispering something to them.
When I'm sure that when we exit the building and we're out of earshot of them, Kieran, in a low voice goes, Wiswick, you may have been right about this town.
Yeah, I'm usually right.
Well, yes, but I like a little more evidence first. Whatever's going on here, I think they've taken the governor, not hostage, but
Hostage might be...
Something is surrounding this Yexarid character, and I don't like it.
Did you hear any bad news about him? Yeah?
Do I know anything about those council members?
You would know that Yexarid is a white dragonborn, and he, you know just about as much as Auric told Kieran and Timber, that he is incredibly private, keeps everything to himself. He's the wealthiest council member, which is why he's able to stay self-sufficient from the town, and that he is the most... He's very cavalier about the Pale Covenant threat, sort of towing the line and just hoping it fixes itself.
Laissez-faire.
Yeah.
What?
Saravine, you would know, is the second wealthiest. you would know that she is a tabaxi, who is primarily she controls the shipping by sea that happens into Nephradala. So she's actually been one of the few who's still been able to make money during this Pale Covenant threat, because they do not threaten the waters as much as they threaten the roads. But as they get stronger, they can start to they are going to start incurring, especially like on the river ways, because now they're threatening the rivers more. But she still can make trade by sea, so she's second wealthiest and probably the only council member to make a profit during the Pale Covenant threat.
This is just a hunch, but speaking relatively low. But if they gained enough power to infiltrate this town over time, right? What if these two council members are actually the dead ones in front of the town when we walked in? What color? And then they were replaced, because these people can animate, right?
If they reanimated the corpses...
Not reanimate, I'm sorry, I meant like just altered one of their themselves. We fought a couple, they can do that.
I believe it was a bronze dragonborn that we found.
Sorry,
hanging from the
I'm
tree.
colorblind. All I see is
No,
red.
I only remembered because Ilyuvanya gave me a divine spark of brilliance in that moment. And someone takes better notes than me.
It was a bronze dragonborn.
Okay.
And the tabaxi, thank you, Shannon, in the chat. The tabaxi had the white tiger stripes.
Thank you. I remember the white tiger stripes. So I was like, maybe they were both
I mean,
white.
you haven't seen Saravine, so you never know. But no, Yexarid is a white dragonborn, so.
Got it. Sorry. Never mind. Scratch that idea.
No worries. I like where your head's at, though. Big conspiracy. I'm on board. Just what we like to get into, right?
Right.
Shannon, give me an insight check just to see if you know anything more about Saravine and Yexarid beyond just sort of the basics.
And Yexarid.
18.
Yeah, Yexarid. 18. Oh, that's good. You would know that their positions on the council, as far as like the Pale Covenant goes, you obviously know Yexarid's, but Saravine has been the most staunchly against hiring people to deal with it to save money. She's very much so like people can defend themselves, essentially. Very laissez-faire about it. Like if they don't want to get dead by the cults, then maybe they should buy a gun. She's very detached from the people and their experience, and even detached from the lower merchants who are being targeted. With an 18, you also know that people have been very kind to Yexarid over the last year, maybe, because he lost a lot of family members before this Pale Covenant situation began. He particularly well known was his sister who died.
What?
You would know that they were murdered. People have suspected that they were his family members were some of the first murders of the Pale Covenant situation, but that has not been confirmed at all. It was some time before the second murder happened. Yexarid claims that it was essentially like a robbery gone wrong, and that's why he's made his estate self-sufficient. He's claiming that it's a matter of safety, and because of the death of his sister and other members of his family. He lives alone now.
Do I buy that story?
Do you?
I'm inclined to say no, just because he's a white dragonborn. And I have history with white dragonborns, or white dragons.
Okay.
Well, butter my bones.
But yeah, I mean, you suspect that it might be connected to the Pale Covenant murders, and that he's just trying not to he's trying to keep the respect around the name, because he doesn't, the most folks who have been murdered have not been as powerful as him. He's definitely you don't know the severity of it though. He's keeping it hush hush, either because he's trying to avoid family drama, or it's definitely suspicious, but you're not sure why it's suspicious.
Let us make haste.
I definitely think there's more to this story about the Exilid. I don't entirely believe his story that he's been telling about this self-sufficient manner that he has going here. I'd say we start there to look for your friend.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could scry now if we really think he's in trouble, but I don't even know if I'll have enough evidence. If he's inside, it's pretty hard to tell where he's actually located, you know?
that's very true.
But if he's in a
Describe
cell,
it to
or
us.
like,
I might be able
you could see if he's unconscious.
Have you
Well,
ever been inside of their estates?
Have
No.
I?
You would not have. You have no reason to be.
'Cause I would
The
have
most
gone
you've
to the council chambers.
Yeah, you would have only ever gone to the council chambers.
Well, at the moment, we may be able to get in Yexerid's easy peasy, I think, is how it's said in common. But we also still have, and then procuring the key, this that your lovely friend Lollop gave us. Seems like it was a much better trinket than I first thought. But yes, we had spoken with one of the council members, an Oric Ashtri, the half-orc. And I may have a way to speak, or to learn more about the most recent murder. So first, let's give it a little time while Oric works his magic. No pun intended.
Ah.
Metagaming. And instead go what we said we were going to do originally and inquire with this Ashtak.
Ishtiak.
Ishtiak.
That too. About her poor late husband.
Yeah,
You wanna-
Shannon.
Over finding our friend, Governor?
Well,
This looks kind of right. I think that takes priority.
so we're have the potential to walk right in the front door of Yexerit's Manor and go from there.
This is a good point. Let's go there.
So we still have to wait for Oric to get that permission, which of course is not necessarily going to happen. In which case, we would still need to wait until, I would assume, night to do that whole sneaking thing where we infiltrate the manor.
You
Right.
know, yeah, probably. But I still want to make sure he's safe. Maybe I'll just go ahead and cast scrying.
Okay, I was going to save you the spell slot, but if you're willing to use it, that's fine. Of course, we always have that relic of yours that you have that lets you cast scry without a spell
Right.
slot, but apparently you're scared of it.
You wouldn't have to use any energy to do so.
And Kieran, I'm gonna smash it on the floor. I'll do it.
So yeah, it was a
Okay, you cast scrying on Governor Clay.
Yep, I just sit down in the middle of the road for 10 minutes and cast this bad.
Kieran picks up his body and puts him somewhere a little less conspicuous. So he actually asked Kaze to do it for him because he's like, Hi, can you help?
Yeah, Timber drags him because he's not strong enough to pick up Wisdom.
This way I know a place. Let's go.
Alright,
Okay.
alleyway, like an evil fortune teller.
A alleyway that I've vomited in many times. Very distinct.
Okay.
Vomit.
So you
Ow.
you cast Scry on Governor Clay. What you would see is you would see Governor Clay. Your vision is almost security camera like you're up in the corner of a room, and you would see this room is old stone, like a lot of the places here. It's a tall room with only one window, which is up at the ceiling level, like a basement. The roof is wooden. Or the ceiling of this is wooden. You can kind of make out the some grass on the exterior of the window. Oriel is sitting, or more laying down on a stone slate with his hands bound. He is alive and conscious and breathing, or he's not conscious, he's alive and breathing. He has been stripped of most of his rich clothing. He's in his just a tunic and his pants. They've taken his cloak and armor and sword. You can hear the creaking of the wooden ceiling, like someone is above and walking over it, and you hear muffled voices talking up above this.
Can I move the scrying eyeball as close to the ceiling as possible and try and hear what's going on?
Let me just check one thing. I don't think you can move the scrying sensor. It moves with the target, so if Oriel moves, it moves with him. But it remains 10 feet. Within 10 feet.
Yeah, like I can't get farther away than 10
You can still
feet.
do a perception check to try to hear.
Okay, yeah. It's like a 10 foot, like I just put it at the highest thing it can go, which is
Exactly,
10 feet
yeah.
above him.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna be good. 10.
It's too muffled. You can't really hear it. Do you stay? I imagine you stay in for the full 10 minutes, or do you not?
I do, but I also narrate what I see to my friends as I'm seeing it. So, yeah, I'm like, guys, he's in trouble. I hear some people muttering upstairs. I hear two voices. It's hard to make out what they're saying. Are they both? What do they sound like? Are they men or male, female?
Male. They both sound male, and towards the end of the 10 minutes, one of them starts shouting at the other one.
Okay. What about that? You said there was grass outside. Does that mean there's a window I can look out of?
Yes.
What do I see? Any landmarks?
Alex, do you have something?
Oh no, I was gonna ask like what floor is it? Like, could you tell it's like the first floor, or you
can tell that this is like
far away.
The cell itself is a basement.
Okay, so it's like an above. Okay,
exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Got
it. Like that window that's in everyone's basement. That you can see, it's like that.
Okay.
Right. I figured it was the stone structure, so it was probably lower in the building anyway.
Mm-hmm. Give me a perception check for trying to look out the window.
Ooh, 17.
It's a little difficult to really see much because it is such a low window beyond just sort of the grass that's grown around the window itself. I would say with a 17, you would be able to notice that there are these manicured flowers around the window itself. Probably you can see they're kind of a purple petals. They're kind of overgrown a little bit to kind of somewhat conceal the window a little bit, just beyond the grass.
Yeah, guys, I can't see much out the window, but I think that it, it doesn't look like an estate. They really need to like do some gardening. Everything's overgrown, but some purple flowers, if that rings any bells.
Katya?
No? Okay. Well, I think this is now a matter of urgency. They seemed pretty angry when I finished the scrying. I don't know if it's to do with our friend, but we should get there just in case. He doesn't look well.
We don't know where there is, do we?
Well,
No.
we've got two options. It's probably one of those estates that the other council member spoke about.
Right, and as I stated previously, we can get into Yexerid's estate if we simply wait for Auric to get us permission. I understand your urgency, but maybe rushing into things at this moment is not the best idea.
I agree. They're not killing him for a reason, so they're going to hold on to him for a little bit longer.
When he was unconscious or he was awake?
Unconscious.
He's unconscious.
When he was there any like anything in the room other than just him on a stone slab?
It's pretty much just him on a stone slab. The other thing with that 17 and also just generally being able to see the room, there wasn't a lot of light in the room other than like a single torch sconce and a little bit of daylight coming in, although the sun is setting at this point. You would have noticed that there was like kind of like pollen on a heavy spring day that was kind of coming through the window into the cell and just sort of floating like dust through a sunbeam in the light in the space. That was really the only other discerning factor.
It does say that I can see and hear as if I were there, so my superior dark vision does go over. If that makes
It's fine. There wasn't a need for dark vision in the space.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just don't feel comfortable with leaving him chained up like that. Like, can't we at least, like, see if we can get him released? If he did something wrong, we could at least, like, learn about it if we go there and talk to the people.
And we will, Wiswick, when we have permission to enter. And then we can use that permission to do things that we don't have permission for, like finding our good friend, Oreo.
Correct.
I understand that you wish to help him.
We all do.
I think it's better if we wait so that we're not sneaking around two different estates, by the way, in broad daylight. And maybe this Ishtiak can give us a hint to better indicate where exactly we may find him. Though, I am inclined to think that Yexerid is our culprit. Simply based on that name, just doesn't sit well with me. It seems like a villain's name. Who laughed? Who was that?
Vanya?
Also, I meant to say this. After leaving the council chamber, Kieran's head would have been on a swivel for two things. One, for anyone following us, for eyeing us suspiciously, and two, for any kind of markings or indications around the town, primarily focusing on things that are Pale Covenant in nature, aka iconography of theirs, or things like almost like thieves' cant. He would be looking for that kind of engravements and stuff like that, simply to see what's going on around town.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Baba booey, 24.
Great. So you don't see any outward Pale Covenant iconography throughout the streets. As far as Thieves' Cant goes, you
Sorry, it wasn't like it was just like a thing.
Scarlet would have taught you.
Yeah.
or
But,
just
like,
like
you know, like-
carvings or
Yeah, carvings or anything like that, or things that like might look suspicious.
suspicious. Okay, I mean you don't really see like there's no like carvings that look. All the carvings look like they're part of the structures
Okay.
or are graffiti. There's nothing that looks like, say, like a target or something
Right.
that like represents the Pale Covenant. You do see stuff that you don't know exactly the meaning, but you see it and think of Scarlet because you're like, that's probably some kind of thieves' cant right there.
Okay.
That is more common. That you do see, especially as you get deeper into the town. Are you still heading to Ishtiox right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. As you get closer to Ishtiox, you start to see more of that in the Stilts and the Drowned district. Well, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to do something before that happened. Kieran, can we? I understand your feelings, and I want to go with your plan here, but would it be so wrong if I did a little bit of more reconnaissance? Like maybe I can, if I just go over to the what's called the estates while you're managing Ishtiak and just look from the distance, you know, not do anything, but maybe figure out some clues that might be able to help narrow down our targets?
If anybody should do reconnaissance, it's me. But I don't think now is the right time. Once the sun sets a little bit more, I'll leave, but stay safe with Kieran.
I understand your concern, Wiswick, but the last thing we want is these folk to be more suspicious of us. We're already outsiders, and no offense, Katya, but traveling with you does not seem to be earning us many favors with the council members.
No, it wouldn't. Although I was going to say that we could use that as a sort of a ruse. I could say that I'm showing someone around. And if we happen to get caught, I can take the blame for it. I'm sure that wouldn't be... I don't know, I'm sure they would buy it.
If we
Wiswick?
really wanted to sneak in there, we wouldn't get caught. But all right, if everybody seems to be against me on this one, so let's go see the widow.
Okay.
As you're heading there, you would notice some thieves' cant on in the stilts. You would notice a structure that looks like it's mostly made of mud and sticks. That looks like it shouldn't be standing, but the mud architecture is good enough. It seems it's 2 stories of mud, which you could easily presume. Katya can point out this is the mud house. Which is on the edge of the stilts right before the Drowned district. You can see there's several Axel born kind of wandering around it, tending to the mud house as well,
Not to be
carrying
seen.
boxes and doing things all around the kind of small area around it. This whole region is 1 foot underwater. And as you get closer to the mud house and into the Drowned district, it starts to get deeper and deeper until you have to walk up the steps onto some pre-built kind of wharfs and other wooden walkways that create the Drowned district, which is in its own way a kind of a lake town.
It's your one reference.
I made an Elrond reference earlier.
What's he from? Is that Star Wars? I don't know.
Probably.
Matrix. But you could easily, as you're walking through, you see there's a bugbear wandering around, lighting several lanterns throughout the lake town, as it is getting very dark at this point with the sun setting.
What time is it?
It's later in the day. It's around like 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay. All right, we're in the gloaming, so
Yeah, sunset.
you know how those gloamings are. Is there gloaming light savings time?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, because
This-
it's load of baloney
Yeah.
in our world.
Yeah, if they did a gloaming light saving, then the sun would set at like 3 o'clock. Um, but anyway, you can easily find Ishtiak's house given the what you've been given for directions. They have what looks like one of the larger homes within the Drowned District. There's a lot of fishermen who live in this district, and then there's kind of the port area that extends on one side. Ishtiak and her husband Nasseroth look fairly wealthy. That's why they were targeted. Their home is much larger than all the rest. It takes up a lot more space. They likely probably had something to do with the shipping industry or the fishing industry in the region, as far as where their wealth came from. But you can see there is kind of an exterior wall with a wrought iron gate, and then the internal courtyard is, I mean, it's all wood because it's in the floating area. As far as the actual courtyard is more of a wharf itself. And then smaller than the estates of the council members, there's a small manor within.
Any guards?
There is one guard on the inside of the wrought iron fence. It is not a dragonborn, but they look more draconid than the typical dragonborn. They even have a pair of small dragon wings on their back. They are of the red variety. They're well armored, and they are very attentive as they're holding a large glaive, and they are just kind of patrolling in the courtyard, keeping an eye around.
Is there like a gate or door that bars us from entering?
Yes.
So going up to the gate, Kieran, the staff, knock, knock, knock.
Garb would definitely see you and kind of come up and say, "What are you doing here at this hour?"
Hello, my good sir. I apologize for the late intrusion. We are travelers to your lovely town, and, well, to be quite blunt, we are no friends of the Pale Covenant and understand that your mistress here and your late master suffered at their hands, and would like to see if we can gather any information here to help us against them.
He's just sort of staring at you for a long while through the gates, like kind of maybe inspecting each of you. And then he'll open the wrought iron gate and lead you in. I will go and find Lady Ishtiak to see if she wishes to speak with you. She has not been entertaining guests much since her husband's death. One moment. And he'll actually flap his wings. You see he flies up into the second
That is
floor.
so cool.
And lands there and opens two gates up there. But you're waiting a long while in this space. You can see there are Huron, you would be able to see that there are like scratch marks on the wood of the courtyard. They look like they look like a creature's scratch marks more so than a like a humanoid. They look more like tracks in the wood. Katya, you would notice this too.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, would I recognize what kind of creature? would
Give
have done
me
that?
a nature or survival check.
I imagine
Survival.
both Katya and Kieran kind of walk over and both lean down
At the same time.
back to them.
Wiswick also looks from a distance, but he's kind of just trying to piece together the scenario, like an investigation check to see like what could have happened here, less about like what the monster is.
Sure, give me an investigation check.
25.
Okay.
Survival.
Survival, okay. At first you think it's core spawn, just because of they drag themselves with their claws. But these look like bipedal footsteps, and not a four-legged or two-legged slug creature dragging itself. You're not 100% familiar with the creature it is. It could be any number of creatures, but there's not a lot of bipedal creatures. At first, you think maybe an ettercap, but then you're like, no, an ettercap wouldn't show up this close into town. And given the circumstances, it's most likely some sort of risen creature by the Pale Covenant. Perhaps a risen ettercap. But there's definitely something that's clawed bipedal feet.
Looking at Kieran, what do you make of this? Have you seen these before?
I've seen scratch marks, but to what exactly they belong to, I don't think I would know.
I suspect that it is... Was I there for that risen creature conversation? Or do I already know that they have...
You don't know that. No, you wouldn't know that. Katya, what was your score again? 24?
25.
25? I'd say you'd notice one other thing. There are three sets of tracks here. Two of this more clawed foot, and then one that, although it's not like it's, they're also claw marks, but they're shallower, like at least clawed enough to leave a mark.
Would it be like a human trying to like...
No, none of them look like that. They all look like they were walking in some way, or yeah, they all look like they were walking in some way. You would actually even kind of almost think of the half dragon that just flew up there. You can imagine his clawed feet, but he obviously doesn't leave tracks here because he is pacing and you see no claw marks. Maybe a scratch here and there, but he does have kind of clawed feet. He doesn't wear boots as he's walking. And eventually you'd see Ishtiak comes out as well, and you would see she doesn't wear boots either. She has clawed feet that just go out, but they are they don't match. Yeah, they're different sizes, and when they walk, they're not like these are aggressive marks, like something was running across this courtyard to catch someone or something, or to try to to do something else. But Ishtiak does come out. You can see
Wizwick's investigation.
Oh, what'd you get?
17.
17. I would say, just observing them based on what Katya and Kieran were saying, these creatures, it looks like they landed here. Like these scratch marks are them digging their feet in as they land in here. Maybe as if they were jumping over the wall or coming from above in some way, and then rushing forward to go inside the house or to attack someone.
Interesting. So going inside the house, does the house have any visible damage as well?
Give me a perception or investigation check as you're walking up towards it. Because Ishtiak is, I'll say Ishtiak is opening the front doors now and stepping out.
28.
28. There are a few more claw marks that you would see. One, you would see, it looks like, so the house is 2 stories, and there's kind of a front area where the second story comes over, and there's a kind of a porch area in the front. You can see there's some remnants of like a broken wood in the front area, and some claw marks on there as if someone was being attacked against that wood. And with a 28, that's freaking high. You would also notice some dried blood stains that still haven't been washed out on the wood. You would also notice scratch marks as if something was climbing up the columns, the wooden columns, and into the second story. Not the way that Dragonborn flew up and landed in, the half dragon, but more so like something had claws and was dragging itself up the wood with its claws.
Okay. But there's no like physical entry into the building from one of these
Not
creatures.
in these. It looks as though the ones that clawed their way up probably physically broke into the top floor.
Okay. I point out these details as we walk inside of the building.
You would walk in, and Ishtiak would be there in long robes. She has bright green scales with this sort of frond at the back that's almost a little like triceratops like with some spikes on it. Or even like her long dragonborn snoot is a little beaked at the end like a triceratops. As she brings you inside, says, "If I'm not mistaken, you are here because of my husband's death."
Kieran gives a little bow and goes, "Yes, thank you for agreeing to meet with us. I apologize for your loss. We have also experienced loss at the hands of the Pale Covenant and seek retribution against them."
The council sent you? Or are
No.
you on your own?
We have spoken with Auric, mostly.
Are you mercenaries?
No.
Like wandering do-gooders.
Yes. I apologize. My companion speaks correctly. We are wanderers of these lands, and we seek to do good where we can.
I'm helping. I don't know
And
if you know me.
Katya is a new. We hired her for an excursion to the south, but first we wish to see the end of the Pale Covenant, and have hired her suchly.
Well, if you're not mercenaries and you're not working with the dreaded council, then those are 2 points in your favor. That one mercenary in here and no respect for them. This council wouldn't do anything for anyone but themselves. What is it you want to see or ask?
Were you or your house guard here, Kieran says, indicating the red half-dragon, present during the unfortunate events that led to your husband's demise?
Raxis was not here. He's a new hire to protect me. We did have a guard here. He did not survive. I was here the night my husband was murdered.
Did it have anything to do with the damage outside? The creature that supposedly attacked?
Yes. That night, everything all happened very fast. We heard nothing. As if there was no sound whatsoever, everything went deaf in our ears. We didn't hear the guard being slaughtered outside. We didn't hear them climb up the banisters and break through the window. We heard nothing.
Did you see anything?
I was going to say, what did the creature look like? The more detail you can give, the better.
And you see she kind of closes her eyes a little bit, a little overwhelmed, and a little bit having some difficulty telling the next part of the story.
And Kieran walking up to her and goes, "If I may, ma'am, I think I can help you," and starts to activate calm emotions.
Excellent. How do you do that? What does it look like?
So he kind of holding his hand out, letting the staff fall into the crook of his arm, holds his hands out, and you would see the familiar silvery purple glow of Ilyavanya's magic, and he kind of holds it out towards her and goes, I'm a cleric of the old goddess Ilyvania. If you'll allow me, I can help ease the troubles currently plaguing your mind to help tell the tale a little more clearer.
Okay. As you do so, your kindness and magic does kind of, she shakes her head yes, and while there are tears in her eyes, she seems to take a deep breath. And I was asleep when they killed the guard downstairs, climbed into the window. I was only awoken. Feeling my husband's blood splash against my face. Awoke in panic at the feeling, and I looked up, and I heard nothing, just emptiness. A glaive through my husband's chest as he was held up aloft over the bed. Two creatures stood. I could barely see them in the dark, but for the yellow orbs in their eyes, and the silhouette of the many spiked horns tendriling off of their crowns. White scales. White dragonborn killed my husband.
You said those.
A woman.
You said those two creatures? White dragonborn?
And a white dragonborn. They killed my husband, stripped him of any belongings. She stepped over to me. Nothing but darkness in her eyes. She held her hand to my throat. I still heard nothing. She simply held a finger to her lips.
What was she wearing?
Black leather. Black leather breastplate. With the pale covenant symbol on her chest. Long dark cloak. White tendrils off the back of her crown. Spiked crown.
Did the crown, or perhaps did anything they were holding remind you of this? And I minor illusion an image of the tuning fork that is in my pocket.
No.
Sean, the bone creature that we saw of the conjoined, it didn't have any crown or anything like this, did it?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so. Just want to double check.
Mm-hmm. creatures may have been hiding their faces. The faces looked like skulls. Massive raven skulls. Or some other bird. I wish I could show you, but I just have what I remember. You're the first people I've told this what happened that night. I was too scared to tell anyone else. She'd come back.
Of course. It's quite a dramatic experience. Ishtak, thank you for sharing this with us. Is there anything else you think might be pertinent or even mundane? Anything else connected to this? Maybe something leading up to the night when this happened?
Did they take any of your husband's personal belongings?
They did. Leading up to this night, well, I remember Narasath. He loved to tend to the garden outside. And I just thought it was just a peculiarity. It was shooing away crows and ravens all morning. And I remember they're all over the trees in the garden. I remember there was one white one. Felt like it was looking right at us.
I've seen that raven. After we defeated the cultists on our way here, it was watching us. I tried to attack it, but it melded into a huge cloud of those ravens that flew above us. We were able to escape, but it seemed like they didn't want to chase us into town.
I've not gone into that room since that night. If you wish to go in and look there.
Is it okay? We do not wish to overstep our bounds.
I trust no one in this town, but you were the first people to come with compassion. You seem like you were truly trying to help.
If I'm being honest, I'm more interested in seeing their end. And Kieran simply walks, without really knowing where he's going, towards what he thinks might be the bedroom where the scene of the crime happened.
Yes. So when, and she'll point you in the right direction, so you don't just like open a cupboard.
Are you in here? Hello?
You sleep in a broom closet. Not what I expected for such a wealthy family.
Someone Alicia do this.
But no, you're able to open the room, and it has kind of like this sliding barnyard door kind of aesthetic. And as you slide it open, you would see immediately the bed covered in blood-stained furs. Like she legitimately has not stepped foot in here since they took the body out. The blood is still there, dried on there. You can see it. You can see those similar claw marks on the floor, but less aggressive because they didn't really have to fight in here. You'd see where they leapt out a back window.
I start looking around for anything that the assailants might have left behind, whether it be like a little strand of hair or like, you know, an object, or maybe like just some blood that was like scraped when they like went through a window or something like that. I just start searching.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd be
give me
looking around,
an investigation check. Anyone who's looking around, give me an investigation check.
I do a perception check, understanding that I will find different things.
Timber's not going in the room because there's blood everywhere.
It's a good call. It is a lot of blood.
Dirty 20.
I got a 23.
2 moments later, Timber's just licking blood off of a
Yeah. Off of everyone else's bodies.
fat boy, off the bed.
If I'm
Kills
assuming
them.
correctly, Sean, is the second body the Tabaxi, the guard that died?
Yes. Oh, wait, what?
Okay. We found 2 bodies at the cultists, the green dragonborn and the
It was a
It was a
bronze,
bronze
dragon.
dragonborn.
It was
Oh.
a bronze dragonborn, so it
Dang
wasn't
it.
these individuals. That would be cooler. I should have done that.
Good point, but no.
Good point, but no, yeah.
Fair enough.
Sorry, what was everyone's checks again?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
23.
23?
17 on perception.
Okay. Let's see. So, Wiswick and Katya looking around, looking for specimens, I suppose. There's 2 things you both would find. One, you wouldn't find any blood, other than what you presume is Narasot's blood. You would find sort of residue that appears like an accumulation of pollen on the floor.
Connecting dots.
And you would also find not blood, but kind of a dried, at this point, dry, kind of fleshy bits. Like as if someone peeled a scab off and just like left it behind.
Does it
I
look
pick
like
up-
those- Go ahead.
I pick up the goop or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I say,
Yep, this is organic. I can probably use this to scry on someone.
Good find, Wiswick.
Do I recognize where that came from?
At first you might think of core spawn because of their way their
Core
exposed
spawn.
flesh looks.
Yeah.
But you don't think there were a core spawn here. But maybe something that has a similar exposed flesh hide. Because the core spawn have that that tail that is literally like skinless flesh. And whatever this was potentially could have a similar makeup. Kieran, with a 17 perception check, you would notice that the kind of like a chest area where there was a chest and some other desks and stuff where belongings might be was kind of ransacked a little bit, where they took what they could from there. You'd see there's gold laying about and other jewelry, but it looks like, just by judging by the desk, like they took innocuous things that were, there's missing sets of things. Like you see a scabbard with no dagger in it anymore. You see where there was probably a portrait within a frame. The portrait's been ripped out of the frame.
Sean, what would I know about the magics of the Pale Covenant in Hairfost?
Give me a religion check with advantage.
You said
Thanks.
it right. I'm so proud of you.
It only took all session. Wow, 2 18s.
Nice.
With the 26
it's all about the
base. No
the
trouble.
rhyme
device.
that I put. Yep, thank you.
The Pale Covenant, their magic is necromantic in nature, but it is very dominating magic, and they feel the best undead servants and creatures, the ones that serve most ferociously and loyally, are not animating spirits, but real spirits. They try to simulate that same type of undead construct you saw in the Chromatis hinterlands that that Raphael had been studying. He said that this, whatever organic material it was consuming, feeding off of the actual soul of the risen creature. This seemed to be trying to not just raise an undead creature, but imprison the original soul within the undead spirit.
Would I be able to, in character, connect the dots that I, as a player, am connecting, that the Pale Covenant is stealing mementos of the living, ex-living, to use those to, in a way, tether the souls?
Yeah, you'd be able to make that connection.
Cool.
Which is all the more reason why there's such a blemish to Ilyuvania's necromancy, where it is used to return people to mostly a living state, or to raise someone to the status of undead, but of their own free will and mind, like the Undying Court.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
What did you find?
Exiting the room.
Mhm.
Does his companions follow? Well, do Wiswick and Katya follow?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Kiran, turning to Kaze after he asks that, goes, We found, I think, what we were expecting to find. An unfortunate scene of an unfortunate murder, and a lot of personal belongings missing. Turning to Ishtiak, Kiran gives a small bow, and goes, We are most gracious that you have allowed us into your home. I think we have gathered all we can find here. I am, again, sincerely sorry for the loss you have suffered, but know that we will seek to avenge your husband's death and the death of all those affected by the Pale Covenant, and ensure that his soul finds peace from this world.
Is what we seek. And if you can do this, I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. Since the council will not do anything.
No, I imagine the council has somewhat of a hand in this. Though how deep that hand reaches is yet to be seen. Keep yourself safe, Ishtiak, and turning to the half-dragon, Draxus, keep your ward safe as well as yourself.
He nods to you.
Blessings of the Crescent Heart upon you. She will protect you from this vile magic. Friends, if there's nothing else, he says, waiting for their okay.
Let this be on our way.
Well, I guess we can do the scrying later.
Yes, better to leave Ishtiak in her peace.
Okay. You exit the estate. The doors are promptly locked behind you as you pass the courtyard again, where you would also see kind of that garden in somewhat of ruins, the flowers all dying and stuff like that, without their master to tend to them. You exit out into the Drowned District. At this point, it's nighttime. Everything is lit up by the lanterns that mirror against the slightly sloshing waters as this salt marsh slowly becomes the sea. What would you like to do now? Would you like to head?
What time is it?
At this point, it's probably after your investigation and discussing, say 6:30-ish, almost 7.
I need a drink. That was a lot.
We need to keep moving, Katya. Here, I hand her the infinite whiskey flask.
That might be the most used magic item our party has.
I've had it since day one. I knew it would be important.
So you guys are walking through the wharfs of the Drowned District, slowly back towards the center of town.
I imagine we are heading towards where would we?
Are we going there?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Serving.
I think we would be going towards orchids, oryx,
Mm-hmm.
oryx,
Orchids.
Okay.
Oryx.
orchids. Kiran wishes to look upon their beauty. Oryx's estate to meet up with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before we go
Okay.
in, Kiran, do you want me to do some reconnaissance?
Kiran cocks an eyebrow at Kaze and then looks over at Wiswick. And then turns just to look at Katya because he wanted to look at everyone. Remember what his new friends look like. I'll leave that up to you, Kaze. I'm sure Wiswick would like to join you if you.
I would need Wiswick's help.
Well, if that's the case, of course. Do you think you'll want this? Kieran says, lifting up the key to Yexerid's house.
Yeah, couldn't hurt. Wiswick would probably
course.
need it more than I would.
And as he was about to offer it to Kaze, he hands it down to Wiswick.
Oh, thanks.
Just remember, we're trying not to raise any more suspicion upon ourselves than has already been placed upon our heads. Me and
Understood.
Katya here will go meet with Auric, see if he can get us in. And if not, well, you're both already there, doing what needs to be done. The will of Iluvania.
Wiswick, do you want to give him... Can you message him, or do you want to give him Jet? Is it...
Well, he's kind of in a basement, I'm assuming, so it's probably hard to message him through that wall. I
meant-
assume it's a little bit thick.
I meant, Kiran.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll leave Jet with you. If you need anything, Kiran, just send a message with Jet back to me. He'll be able to find me, and then I'll open a line of communication from there.
Sounds good. And Kieran holds his hand up for Jet to fly to. And
That's
then
hideous fiendish form would hang from your finger.
I don't have another hand. Kieran nuzzles him with his thumb before tucking him within his cloak to be out of sight.
Yeah, the typical move. If he starts flapping around like a maniac, it probably means something's wrong.
Of course.
Is there anything, like, any advice that I could give them as they go off, like, places to avoid or creaky stones not to step on, shit like that?
Probably not really, because you don't do a lot of stealthing around here, unless you're trying to get
being a rogue.
You more so know where like you can climb to get vantage points.
Okay.
But you don't do much stealthing. You're a monster hunter. You maybe stealth in the wilds, when hunting monsters, but not here. You're usually drunk when you're here.
That's
So if anything, you know good alleyways to pass out in, where no one will bother you.
I definitely I point those out. If you need to, I don't know. So if you need a
Is it-
place to lie low,
There's a nice box in that one over there.
I throw
That is
that
a-
box.
Oh, well, broken box is best
why
box.
It's good to hide in.
Yeah, I hope you didn't vomit in it.
Yeah, if you
Gross.
could wait 1 second, I have a few things I want to prepare before we go in, Timber. So we could head there now, but when we get close, just
If-
we'll pull off somewhere.
If you think it's important, and it'll help us, take your time.
Yeah, so the plan is to cast contingency again. And this time we are going to use it on the invisibility spell on myself. And the command is if I what's the best thing? I guess a command word's usually the easiest. So if I say, "Well, I'm out," that's when I go.
All right, great. Excellent.
That's 2 spell slots down the hole.
All right, so
Vizuk,
the 4 of you split up then at this point.
Vizuk, do you
Oh,
have?
no, I'm staying with Timber. If that's
Yeah, that's
okay.
what I meant. That's what I meant. Like
Yeah.
you two, and you two. Great.
Got it.
Vizuk, I hope you have a nice invisibility spell in there for me.
Oh yeah, of course. The plan is you go invisible. I disguise myself as some what's called as some servant or something. See what I can do. If things go awry, I go invisible too. It works great. Contingency does not require concentration.
Okay, so the 2 of you, the 4 of you split up. The 2 of you start heading towards the. You all head towards the district of the estates, but then once you get to Oryx's house, they split off to go towards where they can see the lights of the tall tower that marks Yexerid's estate. The other 2 of you go in to knock on Oryx's door. You'd see his wife answers the door. Oh, you're back. Oryx is not returned yet from Yexerid, but you're free to come in and I can offer you some food and beverage while we wait.
Yes, I believe that's best for now. Does it usually take long dealing with Yexerid?
It depends on what business there is. Oryx and Yexerid don't always get along, so they tend to get into shouting matches sometimes. I hope they are not fighting, but if hopefully he's just sharing a drink with him, a late drink. But business can sometimes take some time. The council members are often holed up together in rooms for all hours.
Of course. If you'll excuse me for a moment, Kieran literally just turns around and sending to Oryx and goes, "Hey, buddy, you up?" No, he goes, "Greetings, Oryx. It is Kieran. Simply checking in at your estate. What am I at? Nope, that wasn't it. What am I at?
Oh, 11.
Oh, okay, cool.
You got you got
Wondering the status on Yexerid.
You have 9
In the
more.
light of the twilight, Kieran.
2 more.
Hugs and kisses.
XOXO.
Hugs, kisses.
Hugs and
Bugs.
So, okay. You send this message out. You get no response. And you get the distinct understanding that there is no recipient anymore.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I
The party is no
for
longer
the sake
split.
of it, we're gonna say that Katya is like starting to walk in. Kieran releases his grip on the staff and grabs her bicep, turning to her and goes, "We need to go."
What is it?
I'm, ma'am. Thank you very much, but we have business to attend to. And Kieran just heads off towards Yexerid's estate. And once they're out of earshot of her, Huron goes, "He's dead."
What? How do you know?
Auric.
How do you know that?
I attempted to send him a message, and it did not reach him. Or, I guess he could be on a different plane of existence, but I find that highly unlikely.
Well, I think we found your friend.
Indeed. Hopefully, Wiswick and Kaze are hard at work, and we shall join them momentarily.
Okay. With this discovery of Auric either being dead or suffering from a banishment spell right now,
I've done it before.
with your friends ahead of you and you trying to close that gap behind them, that's where we're going to end tonight.
No, I have to know. I have to know the answers.
Fun little fact, everyone. Clayton just messaged, "LOL, thanks, Sean, for making Wiswick right again." So,
Yeah.
Clayton's feeling high and mighty, thinking he
Hey,
doesn't go.
you know, maybe there's just bad things happening at Yexerid's and he's not responsible.
Please.
You haven't seen Yexerid yet.
And the moment I see that bastard, I'm gonna be like, I'm look him up and down, be like, "You look like a pale boy." That's enough for Kieran at this point.
Let me give you some of that moonshine.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for sticking with us to almost 11 for Advantage in Paradise. We'll be back next week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here to see our adventurers as they go and try to infiltrate Yexerid's manor, hopefully to find their friend there and save him and see what's up. Other programming this week. We have not confirmed yet, but there is a most likely Shadows in the Mist will return tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll let you know if that's delayed again on socials. So check that out. Keep an eye on socials for that. We have the Relaxing in Paradise on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me there. I'm going to be painting some minis. They have nothing to do with this manor. Definitely nothing to do with this manor at all. Definitely nothing to do with this manor at all, as we've got ourselves a little...
I'm gonna watch.
Oh my goodness.
well, I'll be painting some minis then. Only a lot of other minis that I need to finish off. But
What were those wings?
What was that? What was that? What you
that
were
is
holding?
nothing. There's
That was
nothing.
huge. That was
You know,
huge.
maybe we should go get this
No, no,
other
no, no, no.
shard of Ilyuvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under-leveled.
Yeah.
Do we need to go kill some mud crabs to level up?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, next session it's from
It's-
7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. They'll just be killing boars the whole
Yeah,
time.
it's got to be just a couple of boars. We have to be at like the limit, you know. The
Just
line's
you're
like
at
right
PPR.
there.
You got like that one bar left in
Yeah.
the
I
round that you just
need
gotta-
tough. I need tough so bad.
We don't have like
just
a
gotta-
EXP packet that we could just use.
Oh yeah.
No,
you know,
I'll
just buy
pay
some
20
experience.
bucks if I can level up to 20 or 12 or 20, whatever works.
Wow, Sean's
Can make
new
you
Sean's new form of income, bribing his his
Yeah,
PCs to level up.
Exactly. But come hang out. I'll be painting some minis. We also have the Sean Enchanted Power Hour. We'll be returning this Sunday, where we will recap last week and this week.
Special one.
Why is it? Oh, it'll be special because Shannon will be here in
Yeah.
Connecticut with me, so
Yeah.
we'll be together. So we
Uh-huh.
won't have to do this. We'll just have one camera. We'll be sitting next to each other. Oh my god.
Oh my
Do I have room?
god. Do you have
I don't know.
Do you have another chair?
I have chairs. I do have other chairs, yes. But yes, And then, of course, we'll be back on Monday. But we also have the next One Shot in Paradise, which is this weekend as well on Saturday. Very exciting. We've got Stefan as DM and Clayton as a Paradise player. And then our the rest of our cast is Robbie from the Dungeon Initiative. We've got Danny of Hoop and Loom. We've got Matt from Verbal Components. Is that Matt from Verbal Components? Is diagnosed Matt also?
Uh-huh.
Okay, just checking.
Yep,
Yeah, that makes sense with this.
That's why it's slashed.
Well, you just wanted to
That's
make
why
sure I
it's
didn't.
I also forgot
And-
to add one thing on there. But
And Jess from Underground Oracle. Should be a really fun game. We are going to be playing the module from Scry Society, Into the Mist, right? That's what it's called?
Into the
Yes.
Mist.
We're
I
very
have
excited for it.
Played it before. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, you very fun.
Spoopy.
And then me and Shannon will be in the season 2 finale of Scales Above this Friday with Joe Cat returning as a
Will
guest.
you be there?
He will be there.
Oh, good.
And it will be sure to hold some epic combat. So definitely come check it out. We'll be fighting an avatar of Lolth called the Mother of the Crawling Knight. So that will definitely not be a 2-hour-long fight.
Ooh, drow.
That'll be 3.
So join us for that on Friday for 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tons and tons of programming. We got even more stuff coming up in the future. Thank you for joining us in Paradise. Shannon, who are we rating tonight?
Critical.
Somebody.
Critical Role, right? We'll raid Critical Role's one shot they're doing. It is an Elder Scrolls one shot, so maybe there'll be some Skyrim voices there.
Ooh,
There better be.
a sweet
Nah,
one.
Matthew Mercer's not that. He's not on your level, Sean. He can't do.
He
Skyrim
can't
voices.
do a perfect Skyrim accent. He's not a true son of Skyrim. Did you post one? You got one, Shannon? Who we raiding?
What are we, Vikings?
Who are we?
Okay, classic go-to, and we don't have someone that we can think of new, but they're great. We're gonna raid Better Than Heroes. But thank you everyone for joining us. Go give them our love over at Better Than Heroes. Everyone wave goodbye, and Alex, you can take us out.
Oh, okay. I don't get a wave. All right.